Yeah, welcome back to another episode of Talk Yo Talk with the Big Blue Crew Sports Network right here on Big Pat Sports Talk, man. I am the moderator of this event and special host, Big Lou from G Nation Inside Sports, as we get ready to have the epic debate, Wednesday night debates on Talk Yo Talk with the Big Blue Crew Sports Network, man. The man, the myth, the legend, Miz, arguing that Bill Belichick could come in here and change this around, and the unpopular one, NYG22, arguing that Bill Belichick may be too old to reach some of these younger players. All right. Big Pat Sports Talk, of course, you know, where we talk our talk no matter what you thought. And we even have a special guest today, one of the new members of the Big Blue Crew Sports Network organization, your boy, Deception in the building, you heard? And can't forget the second newest member to the Big Blue Crew Sports Network. If you head down the turnpike and you're going to Quest Diagnostic Center or MetLife Stadium, you can't help but go by the TP way. You heard? Shout out to my boy. You know what I mean? And to the rest of the Big Blue Crew Sports Network who's busy holding down other streams or other endeavors for the network and for our future progress. Thank you guys for all your hard work. It don't go unnoticed. But without any further ado, man, let's get ready for that heated debate right here on Talk Your Talk with the Big Blue Crew Sports Network. You heard? Yeah.
Welcome to the Big Blue Crew Sports Network.
Yeah. What's going on, fellas? How y'all feeling this hump day Wednesday evening, man? The day before Thanksgiving. Shout out to everybody. If I don't talk to you guys tomorrow, man, happy Thanksgiving to all the viewers. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody on the panel and everybody in the Big Blue Crew Sports Network, man. But what's going on with you fellas?
Yo, doing good. What's going on?
That is how you introduce the show.
Maintaining.
Happy Thanksgiving to everybody, by the way, before we get into all the, vitriol and name calling and opinion throwing. Let's be, take a moment before we get into all that and just say happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Let's be grateful. So
yeah, definitely happy Thanksgiving.
Absolutely.
But I just wanna say this, y'all. Lou, that's how you introduce the show right there, yo.
You ain't lying.
That's how you.
That was dope.
You made me feel more important than I am, brother. I appreciate that, man.
So, fellas, Mr. Lou, you know Mr. Lou, G Nation Inside Sports is the moderator for the Talk Your Talk Wednesdays, and one of the biggest subjects and one of the biggest debates that everybody wanted to see was Miz versus TP way, the Bill Belichick way. Is Bill Belichick good for the Giants? Or is he not good for the Giants? Is he too old? Is he out of sync? Let's go with TP way and Miz, and let's get that debate going. You know, Miz is already hot. He's coming from the Unnecessary Roughness podcast, so he already been going through it, getting it busy. Miz is ready. TP is ready.
Yeah, it don't take me much to warm up.
Let's get it on.
Yeah.
So who wants to start it off first, man? Is it going to be
Hold on. Sorry. Just want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat already. Shout out to the best following on YouTube, man. You guys are phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? Before the show even started, you guys flooded the chat, man. Nerd Cage, Brian Howard, Daniel Smith, Ghost Dog, E-Man Perry, Kareem Wilson, you know what I'm saying? Timothy Frith, Miz, everybody, man. Shout out to all you guys, man. Give yourselves a happy Thanksgiving and a thumbs up, man. Thank you guys so much, man. But let's get right into it. Is Bill Belichick too old to reach the youth and develop a program here, or is he just the man for the job with the respect and the stature and all the accolades to go with it to turn this program around? Who's going to set it off first?
Well, I'll say this. I know the last thing that was said from Miz was him making a statement saying that Bill Belichick can just walk in the locker room and he's going to be respected off top. And that's when I stepped in and I said, nah, that's not going to happen that way. It's not going to happen that way because we're talking from a perspective of at least everyone is on this panel, I believe, is what, 30 and up? That's not the voice of that locker room right there. It just doesn't happen that way. They know Bill Belichick from stories that has been told to them. They don't know Bill Belichick the way we know Bill Belichick. And the way these youngins work these days, you have to show and prove them. And I'm not even here to say that it's gonna take them that much before us to say that Bill Belichick can just walk in the room and they're gonna instantly be like, oh, the respect is there. I just don't see it. Not even from sports, but in all angles, like we know that's just not the way. If we look in like rap music, for example, you know these dudes that is in hip hop now, they looking at dudes like Biggie and Pac and things like that. And when you ask them about them, these young dudes is like, listen, man, respectfully, I mean, that may be y'all goats, and I understand that, but we won't listen into that. We don't look at them in the same light. But I feel like that's the same thing that's going to be happening with these players and Bill Belichick. And so, you know, that was kind of my mindset to it. I don't want to, you know, overcook it, but that's pretty much my angle.
You muted,
Not bad.
Miz.
Not bad. What you got, Miss?
You
Yeah,
muted,
so
Miz.
let me ask you this question, my brother. So Muhammad Ali walks in the room, and you're not gonna be in awe. You're not gonna have no respect for Muhammad Ali when he walks in that room. You're not gonna shut your face and listen to what he got to say.
Me? Yes, I will.
Oh, you will.
Yeah.
So when Belichick walks in the building, and you tell me there's kids on this team that doesn't know who he is, which every single kid knows exactly who he is. But if they don't know who he is and they're not gonna, he's got to earn their respect. You know what he's gonna do? I'm gonna tell you what he's gonna do. He's gonna take these little younglings around to the front hallway. He's gonna say, "You see these 4 fucking Lombardis that are shining in this glass cabinet that belong to the New York Football Giants? You see the first 2 on the east side? That's me. Bill Belichick and my defense did that. What you got to say about that, youngman?"
What they're going to say is, nice to meet you, Tom Brady's coach.
Yeah.
That's what they're going to say.
You know what he's going to tell them? Nice to meet the man who drafted Brady in the 7th round and turned him into an NFL quarterback. How's that?
What can you do for us now? Because we've seen what you look like without Brady. So these youngers want to know, what can you do for us now?
Oh, he could do a
Like,
lot.
we don't like the. I'm telling you from the standpoint of this is what these youngins think. This is what
the younglings think, bro, because the younglings ain't won shit.
You have to. That's the football team.
That's the reason why the Giants stink, my friend, because you guys, all these fans want to care about what the younglings said, what neighbors got to say in that locker room. Me, I want the ball. But if you had a real coach here, neighbors wouldn't open up his lips once. I got news for you. A Belichick, a Parcells type, okay, even a Vrabel. That guy wouldn't be running his mouth the way he was running it. And if he did, that shit would be shut real quick.
We have a young football team. We can't get past that. And I'm not even saying that.
Do you think a young coordinator who has no history coaching in this league, we should do this again? We should bring in another young guy and we're going to experiment because he's going to understand the young kids today? Or do you want a man who's led warriors through some of the highest mountains in the world and walked away with shiny diamond rings? Who do you think is better for this organization right now, which happens to be the biggest mess in the league?
I see what a disconnect is. This is what a disconnect is. See, what I'm trying to get you to understand is it's not the fact that you have someone like a Bill Belichick that's going into the locker room that I feel like he can't get the job done. What I'm saying is they're not going to respect him the way you're saying that they're going to respect him. They're not going to look at Bill Belichick the way we may look at him. I'm not saying that he can't come in here and he can't emphasize old school rules and it may turn this thing around. I'm not saying that that is impossible. But what I'm saying is if you don't have an understanding on how to reach these youngins and how to get to them so that you can turn this program around, then we just gonna be in the same position.
But
We're gonna be in the same
TP, you
position.
assume that Belichick can't reach out to these players. Like he doesn't know how to talk to them and show them things and teach these kids how to become professional NFL players. You're assuming this. You don't know that. But let me ask you something. How has the young Brian Dable been doing these last 2 years?
Oh, of course. Horrible. I mean, that's the obvious. Let's get him up out of here.
Right? So why would I want to try another young guy who's going to come out of Detroit, who has no history? He's going to come to New York and find out he does not have the weapons and players he had in Detroit. He does not play in a cozy dome on a carpet. It is not a happy fan base. You're going to deal with the pressure of New York City and the media. Why would I want another young coach that has no history come in here and be the head coach so he could fail again? Why won't I want a guy who's won 6 Super Bowls for the Patriots, 2 Super Bowls when he started with the New York Football Giants? He's also, in case people don't notice, he built the Cleveland Browns. He helped build that Browns team that moved over to Baltimore and won a Super Bowl 2 years later. That was partially his team, his defense. He scouted Ray Lewis when Ray Lewis was in school. People don't notice about Belichick. All they think about is Tom Brady. Yo, Tom Brady came in the league a fucking nobody, okay? And Belichick made him somebody. And then from there, Brady became great. I give him a lot of credit. He did it for himself. But if you watch Brady in the first 3 Super Bowls, he was an average game manager that relied on Belichick's defense and special teams to win 3 Super Bowls. And that's the facts. I want a man who's going to come in here and turn this shit show into a football program again. And there's not one better name in the world right now than Bill Belichick. Now, you want to tell me Vrabel because he's a younger Belichick type? I'm good with that. But still, you'll still be talking about somebody that came out of Belichick's pocket.
Every
shit.
youngin,
Damn. Woo!
every youngin that just heard that just said, "Yo, that you talking about hits that happened in the 2090s." But like that's just the mindset. What have you done for us lately? Because I mean, we was there when you was with Drake May. It wasn't the same. Like that, and that's the thing. I'm not saying that it's impossible for Bill Belichick to come into that locker room and turn things around. But an old dog better have some new tricks. You see what's going over there in Detroit. You think everything is all old school? You think everything is just catered to how it was done back in the day? Not a fact. So I'm telling you, it's easy for us to say, hey, bring in the old school. No, the game is not even the same. So you got to move with the times, or they're gonna move on from you on their own.
No, TP, I love you. I love you, right? Nothing's changed about football. Trenches, power running game, play action football with a tough punch you in the face defense still wins championships. And you're watching the Kansas City Chiefs do it the old school way right now because it's not even Pat Mahomes this year. It's that front 4 on their D-line.
It's the Giants defensive coordinator, Steve Spagnuolo.
Facts, bro. I know what you're saying, but I'm going to tell you right now, there's nobody in this fan base. You got to be on crack if Belichick came to the podium and was announced the Giants' next head coach, and you're not happy about it. You better go check yourself into a rehab program if you think that.
I think we arguing 2 different points. Because
I hear what you're saying. You want somebody who's going to reach the young kids, and you think that you're a little bit hesitant about Belichick still maybe dealing with these type of kids today. I get it.
It's just that I don't think that Bill Belichick is going to walk in that locker room and everybody is going to be like, yo, that's Bill Belichick. Oh man, like I don't think it's, especially a team that is right now we down bad. Especially a team that is is beat up to his core. I think it's going to take somebody who was on a mission, someone who was inspired. Again, that's a whole nother element. We don't even know if Bill really want this shit no more. We don't even know if he's inspired. Like, the last thing I heard about Bill, he's on vacation with his 20-year-old shorty. And I'm saying 20-year-old to be nice. She might be younger. Like,
hey, if that's not inspired, what is?
Man, he's that's not inspiring him. That's inspiring him to retire.
That's good for him sneaking out the window, my G, early in the morning. Like, okay, he's reinvigorated.
There's a report today that already 5 or 6 teams have already reached out to Belichick, and some of them multiple times. So if you think he's not inspired and people are not interested, you're wrong. And the team that's really all over him is the Jacksonville Jaguars, because they're talking about handing him the keys to everything. So, hey, we'll see.
Man, imagine watching Bill Belichick on the sideline in that red Giants old school 80s starter jacket. You can't tell me you wouldn't get excited about something like that. And I'll tell you, the conversation isn't whether or not we'd want Bill Belichick to be the Giants head coach. It's whether or not he's going to resonate with the players. But if he comes in here and he's not resonating with some people, that's probably a good thing, because the Giants haven't had a winning culture in 10, 12 years. So if he's coming in here, he's going to get rid of all the cancerous players that are in this locker room, people that aren't buying into the system, people that aren't giving 100% effort. And when you bring in someone like Belichick, he's obviously going to have say on who we bring in the draft and in free agency. He's going to bring in his kind of players. Belichick knows how to build a culture. He knows how to bring in people that are going to fulfill his vision. And I think that Belichick's vision is still going to work in the NFL today. And obviously you need to pair him with a decent quarterback, which is what we're going to be doing in this following offseason. We're going to be getting, either Shadur Sanders or Cam Ward. And I think he can work with either one of those guys, especially Shadur Sanders.
Can I chime in for a bit?
Yeah.
One thing to what you said just now is Bill Belichick is gonna draft a quarterback. No, the fuck we talking about Bill Belichick here, bro. Like,
no, I get it.
He gonna do what the hell he want to do. Point number two is, real quick. Point number 2 is, if you're hiring Bill Belichick, the caveat is why a lot of teams are not really that interested or weren't interested in him last year is because he wants full control. He wants to be the GM and the coach. I don't think that works, bro. Not at his age anyway. The other point with Bill Belichick is, again, Bill Belichick is the one that sold you Joe Judge and Brian freaking Dable. Straight up. He sold you 2 lemons. And now you want to go back to the same dealership and buy the Rolls Royce. No, bro. No. I'm done, man. No,
you're not going back to get the lemons, MYG. We're going back to get the lemon machine. You're not going to get the lemons.
Yeah, the lemon machine, right.
You're going to get the machine, my brother.
You're going to get the lemon tree. You're not getting an individual lemon. Here's the thing, and I'm not even advocating that we even bring in Bill Belichick. I mean, I'd be happy if we did.
Me either. It's a fun debate.
This is just a fun talking point. But my point is,
better than talking about how bad we're getting our ass beat. Sorry, deception. Continue.
No, I'm just saying, like, we haven't had a culture in this organization for several years. Since Coughlin, since he walked off of that stage after giving his press conference as he was fired,
speech,
and then walked right
even
past
though he
John
was
Mara.
fired.
Man, you could tell the energy in that, and he took the heart and soul of the Giants with him when that whole exchange happened. Now, if you want a culture, I'd much rather bring in. It doesn't have to be something where you're anticipating him being the coach for the next 5-10 years, because that's not going to happen. But you can bring him in here. He can set the foundation, and then you can hand off the reins to somebody else.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
I knew deception belonged here with us.
You need someone like Bill Belichick in this building to hold people accountable. Watching, I don't know if you guys watched the Dynasty documentary that basically went through Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, that whole Patriots era.
Yeah.
watching him in that show, it's like I want somebody in our building that's actually looking at coaches, looking at individual players. Even if a player is good, like, don't be afraid to coach up your best players. And it's like the same thing with like Malik Neighbors, where it's so, and I understand where Malik Neighbors is coming from in those post-game interviews and saying like he's voicing his opinions, because that's kind of what needs to happen in the building right now, unfortunately. But it's almost like the Giants are like handling him with fucking kid gloves. And it's like they're showing preferential treatment to certain players. And, you know, the whole mantra of like, I don't care when you were drafted or how much you're getting paid, we're putting the best players on the field. I don't see that. I feel like they definitely play favorites. And I don't think this team is smart, tough, or dependable. What they've been selling us ever since they've been here. And I think Bill Belichick, say what you want about him, say that the game has changed. I don't believe football's changed. I believe that football is won by a strong defense, strong offensive line, and a strong running game. And that's it. And I think you can get that with Bill Belichick. And if you're saying he's not going to draft a quarterback, that's fine. But we obviously need to get a quarterback. I mean, look at the quarterbacks that are going to be available in free agency. We can dissect that and see if any of those guys would be fitting what Bill Belichick would want to do with his scheme. But what you have to realize is we get a lot of Bill Belichick like coaching tree coaches would go places and then they would fail. But Bill Belichick would stay the same. His team would always remain disciplined and prepared. If you bring in Bill Belichick, it's not like we're bringing in one of his disciples. No, we're bringing in the guy that made all of those false disciples and you know, made everybody else look good around him. That's like a once in a generation head coach. And if we can bring him in here for the next 2-3 years, I would be all for it. Is essential.
All for it.
Yo, can I say something real quick, fellas?
Hell to the no. No, go ahead.
All right. But there's pros and cons to everything. There was some very good arguments about Mr. Bill Belichick. I love what Deception just said. I love what Miz was saying. And I actually see what TP Way is saying. There's pros and cons to every decision, but you have to weigh out those pros and cons. And if there's more pros, you kind of want to kind of see if that decision would be good for your franchise. Now, the things that we know about this franchise now is that we're young and dumb. We're undisciplined, unmotivated, and just don't know how to win. People talk about how old Bill Belichick is, and he might have lost the game and lost the times, but remember, he's still one of the only coaches that's ever beaten Patrick Mahomes. As far as the playoffs, he beat him in the playoffs, AFC Championship game. You know what I'm saying? That was a younger Mahomes. I get it. But he's still one of the only coaches out there to beat Mahomes, and Andy Reid and Steve Spagnuolo. He's one of the only coaches that's done it. Him and Sean McVay and the Bengals coach. Sean McVay beat him in the Super Bowl, but Bill Belichick halted that Chiefs team before they went on their run. He was the one that was like, no, I'm going to get mine first, and then you can have yours after everything is done. Will Bill Belichick make this team disciplined? I believe he can. I believe Bill Belichick is everything that you will want in a coach as far as being a CEO head coach and being the coach that could get these guys disciplined. Does he know how to put players in positions to succeed? Hell yeah, he does. You got people like Mike Vrabel, who we talk about being a head coach. He wasn't an outstanding linebacker, but he played very well in the Belichick. It's the same guy that got Troy Brown to be a good receiver and a decent slot cornerback. The same guy that got Teddy Bruschi out there. Is Teddy Bruschi some outstanding athlete? No. Go to those Patriots teams and you'll find out that a lot of those players weren't great players. They were just a good team. Now, did he have people like Gronkowski, who was a Hall of Famer? Yes. Did he have Brady, who was a Hall of Famer? Yes. Those are all good qualities. And like Miz said, those two Lombardis to the east side, got Bill Belichick's name written all over it. And he was a disciple of Bill Parcells. You know what I'm saying? So those are some of the good qualities that you could get with Bill Belichick. And believe it or not, he's New York Giants, believe it or not. He's New York. He was the same guy that got Lawrence Taylor to be like, oh, he was the one calling those defensive plays? Okay, I'm with it. You know what I'm saying? And the game has not passed anybody by because all the top teams that run the ball, they're winning in the league right now. The Ravens, the Chiefs, the 49ers when they're healthy, the Eagles, the Lions. Study the teams. Don't just say, "Oh, the Lions are putting up a bunch of points, so they must be passing the ball all day." No, they run that ball with those two running backs, and that's how they get the party started. Then they start hitting you with a Amon-Ra St. Brown, and guess who's the coach of them? Another Giants disciple, and Dan Campbell, who's what? Very tough, very organized, gets those players disciplined. They know what to do. They know what to do in certain spots. So that, even if it's only for 2 to 3 years, that's something that this team needs. Just because he's a young coach doesn't mean that he'll be able to, relate to the players, because maybe he's just young, just as young as dumb as the damn players that's on the team, and he don't know what's going on. Now the cons, I think that's really one of the only cons you could really say about Bill Belichick coming here is his age. And for one, he does not know how to draft a quarterback after Tom Brady. Is the same guy that got Billy Zappi, Mac Jones. I think those are the two quarterbacks he drafted.
He's not good at drafting at all.
I mean, Mac Jones was rookie of the year, wasn't he?
He was rookie of the year.
And then when they brought Joe Judge and
that's when he went off the rails.
Yeah.
I want to stay on course to the actual topic, because I feel like we definitely roll rated like to something different. Because now I feel like the conversation and the debate is about whether we think Bill Belichick can get the job done in his age, and whether young or old coach or whatever. And I think this whole basis of my argument was the fact that I don't believe that Bill Belichick is going to walk in the room and just gain a respect from players that's in the locker room. I don't think that's how it works.
So,
no head coach, excuse me, sorry, but no head coach in the NFL is just going to walk into any locker room and automatically garner the respect of the players. But when you have a guy who is as esteemed and as decorated and brings as many titles and accolades and history with him, the players are a little softened and a little easier to listen to what he has to say and give him more of a chance than they would just a Joe Blow coming from such and such. He does command more of a respect walking into the room off gate than most coaches. We all have to agree on that.
Right.
Age or no age.
But I don't think Bill Belichick is the example of that. Like maybe a Mike Tomlin or maybe Campbell, but I just don't think Bill Belichick is look like that in the lights of these younger players.
Let me ask you this, TP. Oh, go ahead. Go finish your statement, then I want to ask you something. My bad.
No, I was just saying, like, we're talking about players that you could see when they putting out these team content videos that they don't even know what a Walkman is. Like, these dudes, we got to remember these dudes are young. And, when Miz argues the point and saying, like, who cares about what the youngest thinking? It's like, you got to care because that's what this team
Those
is.
are people playing for your team, right?
Right.
Good
so,
point.
that's
it. But these youngins are 24, right? 23, 24.
Yes.
14 years ago, Brady and Belichick was winning Super Bowls when they was playing Pop Warner and going into junior high school, watching every football game they could on TV. Who do you think they was watching? Belichick and Brady.
How old were they then?
If they 24, 25 now, they was 12 around then. Watching Belichick and Brady.
Again,
people grow up watching different players. It's not. Real quick.
They grow up watching different players, but 12, 13 years ago, who was the people winning Super Bowls? Belichick and Brady. So even though we was Giants fans, who the fuck did we see winning Super Bowls all them years? The Patriots. We got two of them, but they got, you know what I'm saying?
A lot of people went through high school and middle school watching the Patriots win Super Bowls. Doesn't mean they went up looking towards Belichick and Brady as, the pinnacle of football, because I know for a fact, a lot of kids grew up looking at Cam Newton, Michael Vick, some other quarterbacks out there as well. So I don't want to diminish Belichick and what he's done, but I also don't want to put him on such a higher pedestal to where we can't criticize him. It's a reason he got fired from the Patriots. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's a reason why he didn't get picked up last year when he was one of the best coaches supposedly out there on the market and didn't get a job. So again, Belichick ain't all rosy in to me, you know, at this point in his career, because again, Giants and Giants fans are always looking for the leftovers. They're always looking for the scraps. They're always looking for someone to come in that's been used and abused. And hey, well, we'll take them because guess what? We're down and out and we're desperate. You know, I don't want to be that squad, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? Belichick would have worked here maybe 5 or 10 years ago. Right now in 2024, I don't think so, bro. But y'all got it.
So let me ask TP Way and MYG, who are totally against it. I'm not even going to say totally against it, but just don't think it would be a good idea. What do you think these players do think of Bill Belichick? That's a good question to ask. What do you think people think of Bill Belichick right now? What do you think these young guys think of him?
And YG, give me a second. You go ahead and answer that first, bro.
To be honest with you, I don't want to sound ignorant or like an asshole, but I really don't give a shit, because it's a lot. It's a lot of it is about, we're talking about the respect aspect, you know. But again, Belichick has also got to come in here and get the Giants above 15.8, well, 6 points a game or whatever the hell it is. This guy is averaging. And from the telltale signs of his tree and the people that's been brought in here and his final couple years with the Patriots when Tom Brady left, offense just ain't his. That ain't really his cup of tea. So to me, honestly, it is one factor to say the respect, but what is he bringing to on the football field? You see what I'm saying? It's more to this thing. You know, there's a lot of different factors. Bill Belichick, respected head coach, and I'm gonna land the plane real quick. Respected head coach, you know, Hall of Famer. But is this the coach you want to lead your Giants into the future, or you just want to revisit the past? Because that's what it seems like a lot of Giants fans want to do. Go ahead.
To answer your question, I think they look at Bill Belichick as, oh, I heard of that guy. That's what I think. Like I don't think that they have the same type of respect that we may have for Bill Belichick that they do. Again, when they think of the Patriots winning Super Bowls, I think as far as it goes for them is they know Tom Brady. I don't think that they are in the mindset to go, yo, we got Bill Belichick now. Man, he has done this. He's going to come in here. He's going to get us right, going to change. Like, I think they're hopeful for it. But I don't think that they look at Bill Belichick in that regard. I really don't.
Well, can I ask you something, TP, just on that point?
Yep.
When you say they're not going to look at Bill Belichick the same way that, you know, us fans look at Bill Belichick, and it's not going to resonate if you were to walk in the locker room, but as opposed to what other option would there be? Like, is there someone that you'd want the Giants to go get that you feel like would resonate with players and the players would respect first day walking into the locker room? Because I feel like it would almost be even ground no matter who's walking in that locker room, but I feel like Belichick would have the edge because he does have the history of the 6 Super Bowls. And is there anybody out there that's currently in the coaching market or someone that the Giants would be having their eye on that you feel like would be a better presence in that younger unit in the locker room?
So that's a great question. So I think it's
excellent question.
2 sides. I think it's 2 sides to it, right? To Lou's point, I don't think when it comes to the market, I don't think that there's coaches that will have that first day impact. I do think there are coaches out there where it's possible for like I said, I mentioned the Dan Campbell and Mike Tomlin. I think they know more about their pedigree and their style of coaching for them to have a certain level of respect. But as far as
did anybody know who Dan Campbell was when he became the head coach of the Lions? Was he a household name?
No, they know what he's doing now.
I mean, they know him now, but when he first came in there, I mean, nobody knew who he was.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. I don't think that I don't see it that way. I don't think that the players look at it that way. Because I don't know if you heard the comment, but Miz was saying if Bill Belichick walks into that locker room, there's going to be this grand thing of respect.
Oh, I see.
No, I don't think that the players are going to see it that way. I don't.
I mean,
these youngins, real quick. I think these youngins, man. I think they have especially the stars or the youngins that think they are more than what they are. I think they have this big ego with them, and they have this show and prove type of mindset. And I think it's going to take more show and prove type of approach from coaches than just to walk in there for everybody to be like,
right. What he was asking you was, do you have another coach in mind that you think would resonate more with these young players other than Bill Belichick? That's what he was asking you.
Yeah.
And then he said, then he added a caveat to it, which I forgot what the second part was, but go ahead.
So not on the market, no. But like again, like I just off top, if we're saying like a Dan Campbell or Mike Tomlin, I think that these players
I have one, but
I think these players know them as coaches. If they would just so happen in the fairy tale world, to be the head coach for the Giants, I think they would have a certain level of respect for those type of gentlemen, especially like a Dan Campbell. But
so you were saying Mike Tomlin or you were saying Mike Tomlin or Dan Campbell because of their more recent accolades that you think these younger players would gravitate more to them because they know them more. They're more recent in the memory of winning and coaching.
I know he'll be better than this guy.
Well, and just speaking of Mike Tomlin, I know that the Steelers actually have a reputation where not a lot of free agent players actually want to go to Pittsburgh because they know the culture that's set there and they ask a lot from their players. And so if you can bring in someone like Belichick, and a lot of players are going to be like, oh, I'm the star of this team. I'm not doing this. I'm not, doing these drills. I don't need to. It's like, well, then get out of the building because we don't need you here. We'll filter these guys out and actually bring in players that want to grow and work as a unit because that's the kind of culture that they've set with the Steelers. He's not very popular amongst, the majority of NFL players because he asks a lot from his players. And we can say that Bill Belichick coming into the Giants, he's going to be doing the same things to these younger guys, someone like Malik Neighbors. And I feel like for someone like Neighbors, I feel like that would resonate because I think Neighbors just wants to win. I don't know if it's because he just wants to get 10 touchdowns or 15 touchdowns. I just think he wants to win. I think that's what's going to make him happy. And I feel like
he's a competitor.
Belichick is going to be able to get the most out of him. And you see players that are on those old school Patriots teams that were thriving.
That's what Belichick is a specialist at. He wasn't the best at drafting. He was the best at getting the best out of the lowest market players.
Can you imagine a Belichick defense with Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns, and Kayvon Thibodeau?
I got
Bobby Okereke.
Listen.
You asked the question about who would be or who could command that type of respect and that type of attention outside of Bill Belichick. And I heard everything you're saying, and I'll give you somebody. His name is Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders comes in this building right now, and I guarantee you he will command absolute respect within that Giants locker room and within that Giants organization. I promise you that.
That's a real good one.
And again, I have a question for you, NYG, and as far as Deion Sanders goes, do you think Deion Sanders is a good head coach or do you think he's a good college recruiter? Because I don't think he's going to have the same kind of advantage that he has in the college scale, especially playing in a place like Colorado in the NFL where things are a lot more equal when it's just solely based on your coaching. Because he has that advantage because he's able, with just his name alone, the clout, able to bring in all of these like 5-star recruits, and then he's able to basically bulldoze all of these young or lesser opponents in that conference. He's not going to have that same kind of advantage in the NFL. So I guess I would have some trepidation about bringing him in, thinking that coaching style is going to translate, because I feel like it's more or less him just being a bigger personality and drawing in those that younger group of young college recruits, and then being able to win on sheer talent alone. Like how many I was about to say how many like 5-star recruits are like on their offense, defense, and compared to last year, and just that would be my only like pushback on that. And I'm curious to know your
that's
opinion.
a great point.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so
ahead,
let me answer because this is what debate is. So let me respond. First of all, I think Deion Sanders is a good head coach. I think there's certain coaching styles that you have to understand when you're looking at head coaches. You have the play callers, the ones that are good schematically. You have your CEO head coaches, you have your motivators, you know what I'm saying? I think Deion Sanders falls in that category of a CEO motivating type head coach. And I also think if he's going to make a jump to the NFL, this is a perfect opportunity for him because guess what? He can come in and help coach his son along the way if that were to happen. Also, to be honest with you with the recruiting thing, the NFL sort of like recruiting too. Remember, Saquon was being recruited to the Eagles before he even hit free agency. A lot of this shit is recruiting. A lot of this shit is personality, who you know, who you don't know, politics, who you like, who you don't like, so on and so forth. We see the nepotism in the NFL. Now, the problem with the Giants is they don't got no motherfucking clout. Don't nobody give a fuck about them. You know what I'm saying? But you put Deion Sanders here, you know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, that changes within an instant overnight. You know what I mean? And to be honest with you, Deion, his coaching style is something that the Giants need because the Giants need to be fucking motivated. These dudes can play. You know what I'm saying? And we went through all the schemes and the Jason Garrett scheme. I'm tired of schemes. Give me somebody that's going to hold these players accountable and get them playing motherfucking football. You know what I'm saying? Deion Sanders, I know off rip is going to be able to do that, and he's going to be way more relatable than somebody like a Bill Belichick because guess what? Deion got the swag. I bet you players know more about Deion than they do about Bill Belichick. Talk to me.
Here's where I'm going to give you pushback on that.
Mm-hmm. I thought you wasn't debating, but go ahead, Mr. Moderator.
But I mean,
he still can speak, sir.
Right.
I'm just fucking with him. Go ahead.
With the clown show that we got going on now, okay, and the clown show that we had going on with Joe Judge prior to the Dable and Shane era, I don't think Shane and then Hard Knocks Life added to that on top of it. I don't think Mara wants a father and son duo as head coach and quarterback so that the clown show continues from the media side. I think he wants to rebuild quiet under the radar and then let everybody know when we whipping everybody's ass. Like, I think Mara's already fed up with all the negative attention and negative press that they're getting to the point where they're calling the networks asking them to stop saying stuff.
You want negative press, Lou? Let me tell you what's negative press. Negative press is the Giants have the number 1 pick and they pass on Sador Sanders and take Jalen Miro. That's negative press, bro. That you see what I'm saying?
It's all negative.
Exactly. That's what I'm my point. Listen, it don't matter. They're not going to win by staying quiet.
The only good scenario was to fire them last week so that they wouldn't at least ruin our Thanksgiving. That way we can all just miss the game because we knew that at least somebody was going to get hired to try to right the ship. But now we have to watch the game hoping that it's so bad that they fire everybody. So the good food we're going to eat is going to turn in our stomach watching the shit show of a game. You should have just fired everybody last week so that we can just skip the game and enjoy family and food and know that we're going to lose but not worry about watching it in hopes that we're going to hire the right coach. But no, you couldn't even do that. You're going to force us to watch the shit show on Thanksgiving.
Dash, when you gonna pull up to the Talk Your Talk podcast and come talk your talk? Because you talk a lot too, brother. No disrespect. But listen, this was a great debate about this Bill Belichick thing. And how can we end this part of the show, this part of the debate, without letting the Miz get his last thoughts about the whole Bill Belichick thing.
Yeah, let me say something. I sit back and listen to a couple
Cook,
of you.
man. Cook, man.
No, I love you guys. You sound like a bunch of fucking clowns, okay? I'm gonna tell you why, right? Here's my reason why. You sit here, you tell me that Belichick's been used and abused when he's used and abused the shit out of this league for 3 decades. And you're gonna tell me he got used and abused? I don't know what I'm listening to over here. You cry about Dable as a clown, but you don't want Belichick. Do you hear yourself? What are we talking about here? Yeah, look at this guy. Look, man. I mean, this guy right here is in the league
Look at him.
because of Belichick.
Yeah,
Isn't this guy in the league partially because of Belichick?
Off the screen.
Yeah, yo. So listen, man. What are we talking about here? I mean, let me see something here. Hold on, man. We're talking about the great Belichick, and you're telling me the little kids don't know who he is. Well, you get to fucking know him real damn fast. I promise you that. And if you don't like it, you'll be out of here. And when the Giants start treating the team and players the way they used to, instead of sucking up to them and being scared to discipline somebody, maybe the Giants become a football team again. How about that? How about that, man? So if neighbor says something, we better dance around him like we used to with Odell, right? Instead of giving the coach the strength to make these kids into men by disciplining them. Ain't nothing changed in the world. The only thing that changed in the world is that America got fucking soft. That's the bottom line. So, but when you get tough again, when the Giants get tough and get back to being the New York Football Giants that the country remembers, maybe the Giants will win again. And you know who's got that written all over his face? Bill Belichick. And the only other 2 guys that got that written all over them to be the most perfect guys to turn this whack circus into a football, New York Football Giants team again that has respect and pride. And you're not going to come in our building with your fans because you're going to get a beat down from our defense. You know who? The only 2 other guys, they're too old to do it. Those guys are old to do it. It's Parcells and Coughlin. Those are the only other 2 guys. Belichick has a couple of good years left. You know, I heard Sims say that he would coach for 4 to 5 more years. That's good enough to put the Giants back or almost at the top, or at least in a trajectory straight north. And right now, that's all you could ask for. Because, yo, take a look at us, bro. We're embarrassing. The only thing we talk about tomorrow is will the Giants lose by 10 or 35? Or the Giants lose by 10 or 35 tomorrow? That's all you want to know. Are we losing by 10 or 35? Is neighbors going to cry on the 50-yard line in the middle of the 3rd quarter? Or is some other guy going to quit? Who's quartering? Is it Locke or DeVito? Who gives a shit, bro? Are the Giants quitting or is the coach tanking? These are the questions that don't even watch the game tomorrow. There's no point, bro. It's embarrassing. So don't tell me, oh, I don't know about Belichick. Yo, Belichick is the greatest coach of all time. Yo, give me one of these young kids. I'll have a conversation with them. When Belichick walks in the locker room, I promise you this. 2 things. If Belichick walks in the locker, I don't know. Number 1, guys like Dexter Lawrence and Andrew Thomas and Kayvon Thibodeau and Burns, they're going to shut their faces and they're going to listen. And when those leaders listen, the rest of the kids are going to shut up and be in awe also. Because he'll be like, yo, you know who that is? That's fucking Bill Belichick, bro. He's won 6 rings and 2.
Ain't nobody saying that.
No, hold on. And number two, bro, and you guys could say whatever you want. We'll have this conversation. Yo, God willing, if that day came, because I would be so happy. His fan base would be so goddamn happy the day that he's introduced to the New York Football Giants again. And nobody could say no. You're going to be excited, and you're going to feel right away, yo, we're going to be a football team again. That's the bottom.
All hail the New York Giants. New York Giants. Yeah.
All right. Hey, so Miz gave his final thoughts on that subject. We went a little while on that subject. That was a hot topic. Thank you, TP Way. Thank you, Miz, Deception, everybody on that popular topic. But Lou, Hey, Miz called us a bunch of clowns. So guess what? Everybody got to go to the gulag.
Looks like we got another one! On the ground! This is the gulag. In here, you fight to win back your life. Gates! Let's go!
Also,
Deserve.
fellas,
You fight to win back your life.
Right. This broadcast is sponsored by Leather to the Face. Hey, we do Leather to the Face, all boxing and UFC events every Saturday night. Big Lou and Wales to New Jersey with the call on Leather to the Face. You know, I'm a special guest most of the time, come in and we throw some hands in the Leather to the Face, one of the most popular shows in sports entertainment. Guys, go watch that live every Saturday night, Leather to the Face, whether it's UFC or boxing. Hell, sometimes we do both. So y'all go watch that Leather to the Face every Saturday night. Tune in. Now, Lou,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mr. Moderator, somebody gonna have to battle me before this night is over because I've been itching. I've been in the background listening. What's the next topic that we have to where somebody can battle me? I'm putting myself up there, man. I'm not scared of anybody.
Uh-oh. What's the next topic? All right.
I got the next topic.
Should Joe Shane be fired solely for the mishandling of Saquon Barkley? After all the evidence has come out, now hearing Barkley say that they told him, you have to prove to us that somebody will sign you. And if you go out there and get something, bring it back. And if we feel you're worth it, we'll try to match it maybe. Is that a sign of disrespect to a player who's been the majority of their offense through their bad years, through their multiple coaching changes, when he's the face of the franchise, the majority of the reason that fans are here in seats, conducts himself with class, doesn't utter a bad word against the organization or the dysfunction of it, regardless of the mismanagement, the bad negotiations, and the way they try to make it seem like he really didn't want to be here. Him having to change management 3 times, trying to make sure he cemented a deal here because he said multiple times that he wanted to be a Giant for life. If you just take all the other mistakes that Joe Shane made and just look at that one and peel the layers back and analyze how many opportunities there were for them to work this deal out, and it was clearly mismanaged from Joe Shane's angle. Is that alone in itself reason to get rid of Joe Shane?
No.
Okay, so who wants to battle?
You want
Who wants to step up? Who says yes?
Hold on. Put Alex in here if you want the real heated debate between Pat and Alex, because they both stand completely on opposite sides of this. So if you really want an argument, like Pat said, he's looking for the challenge, bring Alex in here from the Bronx.
Alex, I'll challenge you. Do you want to come in on the show? I'll put the link in the chat. Yay or nay?
And we will all be quiet except for Alex and Pat, and I will moderate to make sure nobody overtalks anybody.
Rob Zero.
Zero.
I think you're one of those guys too.
Yep. Rob might want that smoke,
yeah. Any one of you guys want to come up and give old Big Pat Sports Talk some smoke? We'll give you the floor.
Because he was on my show earlier, and he said Joe Shane should be fired for something, and anybody that wants to battle me on that. What was that, Alex?
Yeah.
Because I agree, actually. I believe he should have been fired for that alone.
So I'm not fair. So I'll step out the way on this one.
Yeah, me too. You guys wore me out with Belichick, so I'm gonna stay here.
Pause.
Good battle, TP.
You guys are still grabbing tight ends? Pause.
Yes.
Rob Zero.
Yo, you killed me with that pause. I say, yo, that motherfucker there.
Rob
Come on,
Zero, the
Alex.
link is in the chat. Alex, the
Come on,
link is
Rob.
in the chat. We talk a lot in the Big Blue Crew Sports Network chat. Alex, I'm waiting to battle. Give me two.
Well, look, while we waiting, can we say the question again so we can get an understanding?
Should Joe Shane be fired for the mishandling of Saquon Barkley alone?
Barkley. Yeah, none of the other factors, just the Saquon Barkley alone.
Okay, then I'm with NYG. I think no.
I mean, you could just say in general because it all factors in, right?
Mm-hmm. All right, fellas, what y'all
Alex, I think Alex and Rob are on the Joe Shane should be fired regardless.
Oh yeah,
facts.
Situation. And I'm not 100% there, so I'm gonna say no.
Deception. I didn't even know he was back there. My bad.
No, it kicked me out. I tried to mess with something.
I am of the same mindset. They both should be gone. Because
Dash, if you want that too, come
on,
up
boys.
and speak. I'm looking for a challenge. This is an open challenge. Somebody please come battle me, man.
What side are you on, Pat? What side are you on?
He said he want to battle, Dash. What you talk about,
I'm
son?
on the side of no.
You should, just in the vacuum of letting Saquon go, nothing else is being looked at.
Okay, yeah, just how it was managed completely.
No, I agree with that.
You know, yeah.
Can one of you guys come up here? Dash, Rob Zero.
Yo, Snarf said he's backstage. He'll do it.
Hey, we need a horn. Lou, like yeah.
The horn of Gondor.
Yo, I was thinking that when Lou was introducing us.
Right. This is your time to come up and talk to Big Pat Sports Talk. Tell me on more around whatever you want to do. This is your time to come up here and speak.
Yeah.
Well, no, don't do that. I don't want it to turn into a name calling contest. I want it to be an actual debate.
Yeah, actual.
Yeah, but when you say that, some asshole will take it literally and come up here and step out of pocket.
Nah, we talking about Rob, Dash, Alex. These are our friends. They cool.
You see me grab somebody through the goddamn screen like this.
So y'all finna make me battle Snarf. That's what you tell me.
You're gonna make you battle Snarf.
Well, guess what?
Beat up on Snarf.
Yeah. Well, guess what? Snarf. What's going on, Snarf? So,
what's up, Mets?
What do you feel about that question right there, Snarf? I guess it's me against my buddy Snarf. What's going on? This is what Snarf's up for.
Just to be clear, should Joe Shane be fired on just the solely alone on the mismanagement and mishandling of the Saquon Barkley situation?
I'm going to be blunt. Yes, mostly because he's cut from the same cloth as Dable. He's a hypocrite. I mean, you say you want to, you clearly made it from the outset that you didn't want to build the offense around Barkley, and then you say you want to keep him based on and match the value that's put out to him by other teams, regardless if it's in division or not, and yet you cut him anyway? Maybe without giving him a counteroffer that's to his value stack, if not exceeded. That's on you. I get that's frugality rearing its head and trying to keep the budget intact as a means of keeping out of re-entering David Gettleman's cap hellscape, and that's fine and all, but still, you just reared the head of hypocrisy by letting him walk. Pause.
Okay, Snarfington. So, in the beginning when Joe Shane was here, I want you to answer a couple of questions for me. When Joe Shane was here, did he not offer Saquon Barkley a contract first? True or not?
True.
Okay. So, Hey, wait a minute. You don't control nothing, boy. All right. Secondly, when they came to the offseason and they offered Saquon Barkley another contract, oh, here we go. Now I got two people to battle. That's what I'm talking about.
I don't want no
I'm always
parts of
up for a
Oh,
good
shit.
fight.
Live from Dash's studio.
Dash, I asked you the same question, Dash.
Salute, Dash.
When Joe Shane was here, oh, snap. I got three people to battle now.
Yeah.
All right.
There we go.
Cool. I asked
There
all
we
three of you.
go.
Three of y'all.
All right,
Listen.
now hold on. Let's be
Listen,
clear.
don't ask for. Listen, don't ask for the bull. Don't ask for the bull. You're gonna get the horns.
No, man, Rob, I'm
Pause.
not worried about you, man. That is a pause.
Straight up.
What's up, Rob? Hope everything's well with you, brother. Who was offered a contract first? Was it Barkley? Was it Jones? Who was offered a contract first?
Barkley.
It was Barkley.
Okay, so when they came out and said that they wanted a priority of re-signing their own players and bring players back home, that means that he held Saquon Barkley in the highest regard of the players that he wanted to bring back, correct? Because he offered them first.
Yes.
So when we got to the offseason, I know Rob disagrees with that, but if they would have franchised Daniel Jones, we probably would have been still in cap hell and probably wouldn't be able to sign Barkley like that because he would have went for nothing. He would have left for nothing like he already did.
True.
So without franchising Daniel Jones, they still offer Saquon Barkley how many contracts after that?
I think 2 or 3.
2 or 3. 2. Okay.
Are you blaming them for not getting the job done, or are we saying because?
No, they're saying because he left and went to the Eagles, he should be fired just for that.
Oh no, I'm not.
No. That's not the question that I posed. I gave explicit details. I said because of the way that he told him, we'll see what the market values you at, and if you even get an offer, then bring it back and we'll decide if we'll try to match it. When this guy has been the face of your franchise, conducted himself with class, no off the field issues, has bore the brunt of the injuries and the offense throughout 2 regimes, despite the clown show and everything else and multiple injuries, never spoke out, was the workhorse. And then you treat him like that and tell him if you get an offer, like you might not even get an offer, basically. Like if you get an offer, we'll try to match it maybe if we feel you're worth what they think you're worth. Like, so
if you
for the whole mismanagement of that situation, should he be fired alone?
And he didn't even do that.
And if you base it off that, here's how I would look at it. If I have a player that's as big as Saquon Barkley is, and I tell him, hey, I don't really know what your running back market is. Nobody really knew what the running back market is. You can sit here and lie if you want to. Nobody knew what the running back market was. So if I tell that player, if I want to sign him back,
Christian McCaffrey had just got 16-something million.
That was way before then. That was way before then. That was like 2 or 3 years earlier. And you've seen people like Derrick Henry only got 1 year, 10 million. You know what I'm saying? People like Swift, who came off a career season, got what, 8 million per. Yeah. So if I tell my running back to go out there and see what the market is, and come back and talk to me, at least give me that option to match it. Is that a form of disrespect? Tell that player that, hey, go find out what your market is, because I don't want to offer you anything right now and it'd be low as fuck and it'd be seen even more disrespectful than what people already think we've done.
But he's the GM. It's his job to know what his value is.
Who knew what the market? Nobody knew what the market was.
That's his
Nobody
job.
knew what the market was.
Nobody knew. But it wasn't Barkley's job to know that. It's Shane's job to know that.
Nobody knew exactly what the market was. But
yeah, nobody knew.
Even on Hard Knocks, when Joe Shane
Chris Rossetti fucking knew.
When Joe Shane was in the office and he said
who's going to offer him that much money? And he simply said, a team with money. A team with money is going to offer him a contract. Who's going to offer him the contract? He said, a team with money. That's all. No, like I said, we offered him. What was it? 12 million? Was it 12 million? Is what
Not
we got
even
all the way
that.
up
They offered him. What are you talking about? Last off season?
No, I'm talking. He's talking. I'm assuming
The
he's talking
first
about this
offer
off season.
was 12 million.
The second off season, they offered him up to 13 million. That was reported.
Yeah.
He didn't get much more than that.
Yeah, the first one was 12. He turned it down. The second one was 13.
He got 12 and a half.
Yeah, he got 12 and a half from the Eagles. He just got more guaranteed money.
But
nobody knew the market.
I got pump fake because I actually at the time I actually agreed with not paying Saquon Barkley, right? I want to fire Shane for other reasons. Outside of that, it just compiles with what Saquon is doing right now.
Let me ask y'all something about Saquon, and I put this out on Twitter earlier. So if we bring back Saquon, right?
No, just no.
If we go into this year, and we end up 6-11, or 7-10, somewhere around that, because Saquon is running us to wins, like everybody was saying. Well, is it worth the contract that you would have had to pay him, and then you're still in no man's land when it comes to the quarterback position?
I was gonna say I'm not.
That's after the fact, though. Still, that's after.
But a lot of people like to do that. They like to look at after the fact. So, excuse me for.
I mean, for me, Saquon Barkley is just the icing on the cake of why Joe Shane should be fired. So I'm gonna let the other people answer the Saquon Barkley question. I can go into all the reasons why I don't want Joe Shane here.
I'm not going to get in this debate. I'm just going to listen. I'm not getting a debate, but I did want to say something right before Mac already said it, but I was going to say it also. Forget about the market, bro. Pay a guy a little more than the market if you feel he's worth that to you. Make your own market is what I'm saying. But anyway, go ahead. Go debate.
Look, when it comes to the Barkley situation, right, it's deeper than just the player and the position. So when you're a GM, you've got to identify the players on your roster and understanding the leadership that you have with the player. Right now, with Barkley not being here, same situation as last year. This team was not this way last year, and that's due to the lack of leadership with Dexter Lawrence. That's due to the fact Andrew Thomas isn't playing right now. Those types of things. Barkley brought a leadership to the locker room that kept people and the players engaged and brought out the best in the players. And so that's a misunderstanding or mismanagement of the leadership that you've got in the building, and you let that go. Now, he made an offer after the 2022 year. Barkley wanted to bet on himself, rightfully so. He had a very good year. He wanted to bet on himself, thought he was going to get more. After the 2022 season is a little bit skewed because there wasn't really a lot of running backs that were available. The top three running backs and Jacobs, Pollard, and Barkley were all tagged. Miles Sanders is not even in the same caliber. Maybe you could say he's just under Marcus Pollard or Tony Pollard, excuse me. Maybe him and Tony Pollard are the same, but he's not on the level of a Josh Jacobs or a Saquon Barkley. And then so now fast forward to this year, like you were trying to get him for like $6-7 million under what you were offering him, well under what you were offering him last year. And you told him over the phone, go test free agency and then come back to me. Tell Ed Barry to come back to me. Great day to be Ed Barry. Come back to me or whatever. And Joe never even batted an eye, never even looked, all right, hey, let me run some numbers. Let me see. It was just, now we're out. Like, so you never planned on making an offer. You grilled Barkley on the phone and you like, oh, you're going to give us a chance. Like you put his integrity or his word into question over the phone. And then Ed Barry calls you and you're like, nah, we're good. We're out. I'm not going to do that. So yeah, I mean, it's hard to physically say if you're just looking at the Saquon Barkley situation. Should he be fired? It's a tough sell. I'll say that. There are other reasons why Joe Shane should be fired, but there's a lot of things in the Saquon Barkley situation other than just re-signing the player. It's understanding the leadership in your roster. It's communication with agency. It's communication with the player. It's understanding the market. It's not altering
Understand what that player means to your team.
Exactly. And it's also, you got to understand where you are. You got to understand where you are as an organization. They tied Barkley and Jones together. So you need to keep those two together. And if you're not going to keep those two together, then what's the point of bringing one back without the other? Especially when you've got a guy like Tim McDonald saying 95% of our offense, a quarterback, if it's Daniel, depends on a running game. What are we going to do? He's all our touchdowns. He's all our explosive plays. He's all our yardage. Well, we didn't pay him $42 million to hand it off to a $12 million back. No, you paid him $40 million to hand it off to a fifth-round pick and a $6 million back. Great job, Joey.
Hey, is that fifth-round pick doing pretty well, though?
I mean, it's not about whether the fifth-round pick is doing well or not. It's not about whether he's doing well or not.
And that's what my problem is now. So
why doesn't it not matter?
So here's my issue with Joe Shane. Like that fifth-round pick, right, that he picked up, who looks like a pretty good back, is a replacement of a fifth-round pick running back that he drafted the year before.
Eric Gray.
Yeah, so my issue with Joe Shane is that he did a horrible job building this roster. He's replacing his mistakes twice now.
Multiple times. Three times.
Just in 2024 alone, we talk about Nubin, who's a safety. We talk about Theo Johnson. He's a tight end, running back. Tracy, cornerback. Phillips, wide receiver. Neighbors. They're all replacements of previous draft picks.
So no other franchise replaces players that leave?
I don't care about other franchises. I'm talking about the New York Giants. Is it okay for those other teams to suck and the Giants? Just because other teams suck, the Giants got to suck too? I don't care about other teams' mistakes.
But that happens in the NFL, brother. That's normal.
But a lot of those other teams, they're not in the same situation as the New York Giants. Like
another thing too is when you're asking what kind of players are you replacing, are they good players or are they back into the roster players? And what it seems to be a recurring theme with the Giants and especially with Joe Shane is that we're letting these high caliber players walk out of the door and getting nothing in return, like Saquon Barkley, Xavier McKinney, Julian Love, who's the Leonard Williams for Seattle as well. You're watching these guys and they're going and making like impactful differences on other franchises. And we had all those motherfuckers on the same team at the same time and we did nothing with them. And all I'm saying is it's okay to not want to pay these players. It's okay to feel like you can allocate that money into other areas of the team, but just to let them walk out of the door for nothing is negligent.
Said, fuck that. Somebody send me the link.
And Decept, here's the other part of that, right? So 2022, you come in, you take a guy like Cordell Flott in the third round, right? Whatever position you want him to be, you want him to play nickel. He was drafted to be a nickel corner. He's not getting on the field. He's not really playing. And you're not really giving him the opportunity to play. Last year, in 2023 comes along. I don't believe that they took a corner, but he was it took him in like the 6th round in Trey Hawkins. But then you don't give Flott the playing time last year. You don't go and give Flott the playing time last year, which last year when the season was over, that would have been the perfect time to let Owens play, Belton play, Flott play, all of your young guys that you invested in, to let them play to see where you're at. So you don't play Flott. You drafted him. Now, granted, you could say, well, that's not the GM's. Well, you know what? The GM should be going to coach and saying, yo, I drafted this player. Why is this player not getting any playing time? I invested.
And
You know,
then he
I
drafted
invested
his
into this,
replacement.
and then he goes and he drafts his replacement in Drew Phillips to make up for the mistake. It's the same thing that he did with the offensive line. Oh, I'm going to take McKeithen. I'm going to take Zudu. I'm going to take Neal. And then the next year you take JMS. You don't take any other linemen, and then you're like, holy shit, these guys fucking suck. Excuse my language. You know what? Illuminor. I got to you know what? Screw Barkley, screw McKinney, Illuminor. You are a giant because you wanted to be here all along. You wanted to wear 72.
So real quick, just to give this argument some credibility, man, because I mean, you guys know how I kind of feel about this regime in whole, but again, you know, I think there is some blame to be spread around here, and I don't think it's all on Joe Shane as a lot of people want to point the finger at. And to be honest with you, when you're talking about the drafts, we gotta give these drafts some time to kind of pan out, fellas, because we just
here's the pushback though.
Hold up. Just talking about the 2022 draft in itself, which was basically a draft that they came in here, you know, seeing what they had. You know what I'm saying? It was a roster. It was scouts that was with Dave Gettleman. So they came in here, you know, that draft, you could say with it what you will, but to be honest with you, I don't think they really started drafting themselves until 2023. And you know what I'm saying? For the team that they're trying to build. Okay, so that's one thing. So if you take the 23 draft and the 24 draft, you know, you can go through those drafts and pick and see where you got hits and misses at. And another thing people got to understand too, not every single pick is going to hit. You gotta say how many picks is this? Well, how many picks is that? Well, shit, do you expect every fucking 6th, 7th round, 5th round running back to hit? Of course not. You're going to have to take swings. You're going to have to take swings in those types of positions. You know why? Because those are pretty much low value positions considered in the NFL. So you take swings like that at safety, at running back, at tight end. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm just going to argue that point. I can argue the other side of it too, but just take that and use that into consideration before we say this dude and everything he's done has been a complete utter failure.
Well, Kenny, I'll say this. Hold on, Kenny. Let me say.
Hold on, one at a time, folks.
Hold on. That's one thing before I let Alex and then Rob, or then Alex, however y'all want to decide it. Another thing that people are not taking into consideration, the GM picks the players, but it's up for the coaching staff to develop them.
Thank you.
Nobody's taking that into the account.
I gotta say something.
Okay, but we gotta let one side speak, then one side speak, then one side speak, then one side.
I gotta make a run in.
No, because he can't debate all three of them by himself. Yeah,
I'm not. I'm gonna mute up for a minute. Go ahead.
So real quick, and I'm not gonna accept the excuse of the team that I'm gonna bring up here. Why is Carl Karlaftis, who was taken in the same draft class as Kayvon Thibodeau, performing better than Kayvon Thibodeau? Why is a guy like McDuffie, who was taken in the draft, performing at a high level at the corner position with the Kansas City Chiefs? Why are those teams able to draft George Pickens? Why are those players able to be taken? I understand that coaches coach, GMs GM, you know, and shit like that. But these guys, pardon my language, I apologize. But these guys are constantly at the podium, at the table, saying we are in lockstep every step of the way. We are in tune. We talk every day. Shane knows the depth chart. Shane knows who practices. Shane knows the game plans. Shane knows everything. Dable includes him in everything. Shane includes Dable in free agency, in draft, in every single thing. These guys are like butt buddies. So to me, it's like, how are you not? Like, they are in tune with that. So I don't I can't agree with the fact of we got to give these guys time and these guys time. Unfortunately, the team and the organization, the way that it is,
Rob,
you don't have time because you're drafting and you need those draft picks to hit immediately because they didn't set us up to where we could be patient. Teams like the Bengals, teams like the Chiefs, teams like the Ravens, these winning organizations, they can take a player and then that player maybe take a year or two to develop because they are in a better position. We are not in that position.
On a better developmental franchise. The Chiefs know how to develop players.
Can I get a quick
The Steelers can develop players very well. They've been proven to do that. We're going to do
2 minute time limits.
We're going to do now we get time limits.
Hold on. Go ahead, Alex. I'm gonna
start blowing my goddamn whistle around.
He brought out the whistle, bro.
I got a quick rebuttal. Because
baby doll whistle.
We talk about coach development, right? We talk about coaches developing these draft picks too. But nobody's saying that about the 2024 draft class. So it's the same coaches coaching this 2024 draft class, and they ready to crown the 2024 same coaches. So we're talking about developing players.
That's not me, sir.
Tell them, Dash. Tell them, baby.
No issues.
That's
they
not
got no
me.
issues developing. No, I'm just saying that's the point you brought up about coaches.
Yeah, it is.
You have draft picks.
It goes the same for the whole team. We're 2-9. They're not developing players correctly, brother.
But then why is this draft?
Wait, hold on. No.
Let Alex go. Hold on. Let Alex go. He's been waiting.
Wasn't it you, Pat, several weeks ago that said on Twitter that Joe Shane is overhated for drafting when you tweeted that PFF, the grade of Andrew Phillips? Was that not you?
Yes, he's overhated for drafting. That's a fact because he has good players and bad players.
No, he has a majority of bad players. And if I can, I'll take it here for a few seconds. Number one, we talk about the coaching, right? It's as I think Dash said it. It's okay for 2024 for that excuse not to be in there. For 23 and 2022, we have to blame the coach. That's number one. Number two is some of these players are garbage, okay? Anyone on the panel, please raise your hand if you knew who Josh Azudu was before he was picked. Okay,
I actually did.
So one out of 8 people. 1 out of 9 people. Okay, that's fair. And what is he doing right now? And a further point about Azudu, right? This was one of the most stacked O-line classes in a half a decade or a decade. Scouts were saying this. You see so many teams across the league, and this is outside of the first round. You got Mason McCormick and all these other cats. Brandon Coleman for the Commanders. But Joe Shane, because he had so many roster holes to fill because he did such a terrible job, he didn't draft any of these linemen. And guess what? Azudu is still the swing tackle, or was. And then you said, okay, no, Evan Neal is our second piece. By the way, I'm not going to give an excuse to Joe Shane for 2022 and 2023. He was not sitting behind a computer like we all were. He was in Buffalo scouting these guys. He was in a front office. He picked some of his guys, not all of his guys, to come in for 2022. That draft class stinks. 2023 draft class stinks. And that's where the excuse, if you want to put one in, it's left, right? Banks isn't working out. That is also due to coaching. I'm not going to downplay that shit. John Michael Schmitz.
John Michael Schmitz is not that bad. What do you mean?
He's decent for a second. We're talking second round pick.
He's an average center.
Average center.
I would say he's regressed because of bad coaching. I like John Michael Schmitz. I think the coaching has made him regress. But I'll give you guys.
Nobody was speaking about John Michael Schmitz.
No, let him finish.
Put him on his ass. I know. I'm just saying.
I'm just making points. So you have John Michael Schmitz. Jalen Hyatt has not seen the field. So that's again coaching and GM. I don't know who the hell we picked. We didn't pick anyone in the fourth round.
Eric Gray was the fifth round.
Yeah, he stinks.
Trey Hawkins.
And here's
sixth round.
But Pat, did you see what they did to him last year? They wanted him to do punt returns. He can't do that. Why did they draft Tyrone Tracy? Because Eric Gray stinks. Okay, let me point something out as well, right? Let's go down the pipeline of all these Joe Shane drafts here. Drafted Daniel Bellinger's replacement this year. He has not seen the field.
That's not his replacement. He was to go hand in hand with Daniel Bellinger. That's not his fault that his head coach doesn't know how to use him.
To add to your point, why did they pick up Greg Dulcich? Why? Daniel Bellinger has seen the field less than Chris Manhertz. Again, I'm not saying coaching is exempt. but that's also on the GM because that guy was producing in year one.
So is Greg Dolch is going to go in and start?
I bet he would.
Why would they pick him up?
Really?
If he's not going to start?
He'll probably play more than Bellinger. You watch.
He'll play though. That's for sure. He'll definitely
exactly.
He'll play
more than pick him up for special teams purposes.
This and real quick, Alex. Here's the thing. So they drafted Bellinger in 2022. Then they trade for Waller. They also brought in what's that freaking guy's name that they brought in 2022?
Luke
Cager, yeah, Lawrence Cager. Okay.
Let's not even talk about
they had it, all right. So then they brought back Lawrence Cager last year. They traded for Darren Waller last year. They had Bellinger who didn't get a lot of burn. Then they drafted Theo Johnson. They signed Manhurst. They signed Jack Stahl. That now they cleared DeLucia off waivers. They had, like we've had 8 tight ends. He's invested more effort into the tight end position than the offensive line position.
Jacob Johnson is another one. Jacob Johnson.
Yep, Jacob Johnson is another one. Yeah. Absolutely.
They brought him in to be a fullback.
He's a tight end fullback, but they cut him. Then they brought him in. Then they cut him. Then they practice squad him.
Doesn't want to use him.
You gotta laugh at this.
He doesn't know how to use him.
Well, hold on. Time out. So, if you hired your fucking buddy and you're spending money on player after player after player, he can't make none of them work, then you need to grow a pair of balls and fire your fucking buddy.
That's why.
If you don't have the balls to do that, then you don't deserve the job neither. Sorry, I'm the moderator.
That's a good point. And let's dig deeper into this, right? I like Rob's sense in going with the timeline. Joe Shane drafts Dane Belton in the 4th round. They pick up Jason Pinnock. Then they let Julian Love go. They let McKinney go. They draft Tyler Nubin. What's Dane Belton doing now?
Special teams.
Don't forget about Owens.
Not a damn
they drafted
thing.
and then
He
cut.
ain't doing a damn thing. That's what
wait, hold on.
They brought in
Jalen Mills.
Bobby McCain.
Bobby McCain.
Hold on. Let Mac talk. Mac, come on. Mac.
I mean, look, I've been listening to y'all for a minute, man. It's just Joe Shane got to go. It's no defense for Joe Shane right now.
Tell him, Mac.
The sake y'all was talking about the Saquon Barkley thing, that just put the shit that puts everything over the top. My thing is, I've been saying it for years. All this market value shit, that's a bogus argument. You pay a player what they mean to you as your franchise, your team. Mm-hmm. It's not about, I'm running back to only getting this. And Saquon Barkley, he's not no regular fucking just average schmo running back. You have certain players that are just like, they're just generational talents. You can't just keep letting talent like that walk out the door for nothing. This Zizo Jolari thing now he's on IR. You could have traded him a couple weeks ago. It wouldn't have been a fucking problem no more. Now he's on IR. So another just waste of what? Joe Shane is doing nothing. He's not doing anything right, is what it seems like. Everything he's doing is ass backwards.
He's just trying.
So
he tried stuff. That's what he does.
The thing is,
trying shit. Don't worry.
But the thing is, the main problem is the development of these players. Why do you think the Chiefs are able to let Tyreek Hill go and still be good? Why do you think the Chiefs are able to let that one cornerback go, Snead go, and their secondary is still very good?
So here's my question.
Alex, you go next.
It's called Patrick Mahomes.
That's gonna say that's definitely called Patrick.
Who's
that defense is?
It is, but Pat, on some real shit.
Hold on.
Look at what you just said about they let Tyreek.
Hold on. It's called a development and a scheme. If that defense falls apart for the Chiefs because they let certain players go, I don't care how good Patrick Mahomes is. He's not going to beat everybody 50-49.
All right, let Mac rebut.
Of the players.
When you develop,
not beating
everybody 50-49.
When you develop good players, you can rotate them like anything that you want to because you have somebody right back there in place of them to replace them. Good players are let go from teams every year.
So every year. Problem the coaching? If the problem's the coaching, I could have swore the GM hired the coach.
Yeah. If you want to fault Joe Shane for that, that's absolutely a fact.
And how about this? How about this, Pat? How about this,
all,
Pat?
all the roads lead back to Joe Shane.
And Mac, I got you, Mac. So all of these defensive players that they brought in for Wink Martindale and what he wanted to do.
And guess what?
Hold on. You had a guy that ran a similar system that was willing to take the job in Denard Wilson, who was in Baltimore. All he wanted to do was hire his own people. The GM and the head coach said, absolutely freaking not.
How much do you think that was?
And he said, I'm going to Tennessee. And he signed with Tennessee.
How much do you think that was Dabo or Joe Shane? Because
I think it was both. I think it was both.
If Dabo was on board, I guarantee you that dude would have been here. Dabo is a guy that can't work.
They're in lockstep. I think it was both of them. I think that they both did not want it.
A good GM is going to be in lockstep with his head coach. He's not going to say, "Hey, fuck what you talking about. I'm just going to bring this guy over here."
But if the head coach is wrong, the GM got to be the one that corrects the head coach because he's in charge.
If you have a head coach, brother, that's already there and has already been under contract with you, you're not going to go against the head coach or bringing somebody in unless you're just going to fire the head coach.
Hold on. One second. You mean, hold on, Big Dash. You mean the GM? You mean the GM that got on the headset?
Everybody, time out. All right. Now, the argument just killed itself. Now, I'm going to tell you why. The GM has got to be in lockstep with the head coach. We all agree that the head coach has got to be fired. We all agree that the general manager has made ample mistakes. So if they're in lockstep coming in, they have to be in lockstep going the fuck out. We need to just hire a new GM and a new head coach.
That's a fact.
And start anew.
I don't think there's
this
any
is
argument.
not
Lou, you know what you need to put
on, Rob.
You need to put him in the bathroom. Put him in the bathroom, both of them.
Yeah, put him in the fucking bathroom.
Put him in the fucking bathroom.
I don't want his face looking at my dice. Put him in the fucking bathroom.
Right. I think you guys think that. I think you guys think that I'm advocating for Joe Shane to be here or something. That's not the case.
No. Should he be fired solely for Saquon Barkley's mismanagement? That was the debate.
But the thing is when a good GM, he's always going to be in lockstep with his head coach. Now, if you want to destroy Joe Shane for some of his picks and some of the moronic decisions that's been made, I guarantee you most of that shit is coming from Brian Dabo.
But that's not true for every organization.
Hold on. That's how good organizations are ran just like that.
No,
yes,
because the Eagles fired Doug Peterson. They weren't in lockstep.
Okay. That was the GM saying, okay, Doug Peterson, you're not getting the job done. You want to blame Joe Shane for that? You have absolutely.
But they were in absolute lockstep the year they won.
I know until he saw, hey, look, your vision is ass, and I can't handle this. I'm gonna fire you before I get fired.
Okay, but so how does that not work for the Giants?
Hey, Pepsi, cut the check. I drink Pepsi every night on this damn stream, and y'all ain't sent me a dime yet. Cut the motherfucking check. You heard?
If you would let me finish. If the GM and head coach are in lockstep, remember, these are two dudes who are just getting a new job, and they're best friends. You see what I'm saying? You guys are absolutely right. Joe Shane should be fired for not seeing what the fuck Brian Dabo really is. He can't coach. He can't develop players. His decisions are bootleg. You see what I'm saying? He's trying to do everything that he wants, that Brian Dabo tells him he needs. That's what a GM does.
Alex goes.
So, are you expecting him to fire his best friend in year 2? After year 2? I'm not. But that's on Joe Shane. That's absolutely correct. Some of the moves that they made has been head scratchers too. I totally agree with that. But what I'm telling you is, if this head coach would actually develop the players that he's asking them for, you wouldn't even be talking about Joe Shane right now. You really think Joe Shane drafted Jalen Hyatt without Brian Dabo's word? He's not the one that's putting people out there on the field. He's not making the scheme. He's not the one putting the players on the field. That's Dabo's decisions. That's Dabo's decision to put freaking Azudu and keep him at left tackle instead of letting him play guard where he's supposed to be. He had freaking McKeithen playing right tackle.
Peps, if you cut the check, you will never see a Coca-Cola on any of these streams with the Big Blue Crew Sports Network, because we don't play that shit. You heard? Cut the check.
Right.
This is a Coca-Cola product, and I will
Get to the gulag with you, Rob Zero.
Right.
To the gulag.
I get exactly what you're saying. I'm getting exactly what you're saying, but maybe sometimes you do draft good players, but your head coach ain't shit and can't develop them, and they look sorry. That's why when they go to other teams, they ball out. Because they're with an organization that knows how to use them. No GM is just going to draft players or pick up players without the head coach's nod. It doesn't make any sense. The only thing they do that's not the only thing they who did that? Who did that?
Carolina did it.
Alex, y'all gotta let
and
Alex
you see
talk,
the
man.
mess Carolina is
They've
in.
been waiting patiently.
No, but I'm saying you keep saying like there's no examples of, and guess what? We're Carolina.
I said no
We're
good I said no good GM does
and he's
that.
not a GM. He's not a good GM.
Okay, you want to know why he's not a good GM? Because he keeps holding on to this coach that doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
No, he's
a fact.
He's a bad GM because he's a bad GM. Not every he's a good player personnel guy. He's
Exactly.
just a bad GM.
Bad.
That's
bad
it.
His job.
Just like some
coordinators. A bad GM. Listen,
bad at his job.
Hey, y'all let Alex go. Alex been waiting for like 10 minutes, man. Hold on.
Because I can't get the full thing out because I keep getting interrupted. The only thing that they're not lockstep in is the GM handles the money. That's a fact. He handled the money correctly. He has us in a good standing with the money. The coach handles what?
We're in a good standing with the money, but we suck. What's the good of having all that money if we suck?
You're not going with what I'm saying. I said they only do two things that's not with each other. Is the GM handles the money. Did he not get the money straight? True or false?
What did he have to do to get the money
straight? True or false? Did he not get the money straight?
False. I'm going to say false.
No. He got the money straight, but the team ain't
I'm going to say false because we have gone in to the last two seasons with quarters, pennies, and dimes rolled up, going to the bank trying to cash it in.
No team wants to go into the season
I'm sorry.
with $40 or $50 million of cap room, brother.
I'm sorry, Pat. I'm sorry, but on this one, I have to step in. If he got the money straight, you wouldn't be benching your quarterback with 7 weeks left because you're scared of being on the hook for guaranteed $23 million.
That has nothing to do with not getting the money straight, brother.
If your money was straight, you wouldn't be worrying about that guarantee.
So what about the Tommy DeVito shit then? Why skip over Drew Lock then for Tommy DeVito?
I'm not supposed to be debating.
That's money. That's all money involved in that.
All of Drew Lock's incentives.
I mean, that's just
he's going to get. They don't want him to get in.
So just because they benched Daniel Jones because they don't want to give him an extra $23 million if he gets hurt, that's bad.
Yeah, that's bad. That's not managing your money properly.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have given him
that's bad.
Yeah, you shouldn't have given him the injury. You shouldn't have given him the injury guarantee to begin with. The guy had a neck injury, for crying out loud, and you give him an injury guarantee?
So even if they gave Daniel Jones the injury guarantee, will we be bad in cap room next year?
Yes.
No, we wouldn't.
Yes, we would. We
wouldn't. We would still have over $40 million in cap.
Yeah, but the reason
hold on, Dash. If I'm not mistaken, we only have like $38 million in cap space next year with like 30 players under contract. You gotta get like 20 almost 30 players in here. And they're still going to have to move money around on AT, on Burns, on these other contracts. If he got the money straight, why was he restructuring contracts this offseason?
He restructured the contract all season to give him more money during the season.
But if he's good with money,
why did he need more money? Pat?
Exactly.
Everybody does that.
Exactly.
What are you talking about?
Are the Chiefs restructuring a contract?
Because they had all their players already set.
How about the Bills? Did the Bills go in there restructuring anybody's contract?
The Bills got rid of all their top players to get the money.
But are they going? Okay, fine. How about Carolina? I don't think they restructured any type of contract money this year. How about How about this? Hold on. How about this? Even the Eagles and the Cowboys, who fans said were running out of money, they didn't even restructure anybody. They gave Dak a big contract. They gave Dak money.
He didn't have to restructure Andrew Thomas if he didn't want to.
But I'm saying Giants fans were saying, "Oh, the Eagles, they're not going to be good. They're running out of money. Dallas, they're running out of money." They didn't restructure one gosh darn freaking player.
It hasn't hit them yet.
You can't win that argument at all because the main point is he restructured contracts because he needed more money.
Exactly.
That's like there's no
who?
In order to maneuver within the season.
Bro, that's just the way he likes to do things.
Pat, when I was on here, when I was just on here, and it's recorded, when I was just on here last time, you said that he restructured Darren Waller just to sign the draft class. If you're good with money, you don't need to do that.
What are you talking about? They were bad in cap room during that time.
In 23,
they were in the red.
That was last year.
They were still in the red. What are you talking about?
What?
Oh, come on.
Pat, bro.
So you mean to tell me after all the shit Gettleman did right before 2022, he was supposed to be out of it in 1 year?
We were out of
he got out of it in 1 year.
You realize, hold on. You realize after the 2022 season, Pat, we had $80+ million in available cap space. He gave it to Jones. He tagged Barkley. They signed Okereke. They signed all of these other players. He blew through the money like. He blew through the money like he blew through the money like people when they get their tax return, and he blew it real quick. That's what he did.
So how do we get back up to 60 million?
We didn't get up to 60 million. He had to restructure after the draft. He had to restructure Darren Waller just to have the money to sign the draft class. And then when we went into that season, they had barely over $1 million in available space to operate during the year, which is why last year and the year before that, guys like Landon Collins, practice squad, off practice squad, practice squad, off practice squad, to limit the amount of money.
Not to mention that Adoree Jackson's and Kenny Galladay was still on the books because of Dave Gettleman. And that's one of the reasons why he had to do it.
It was a minimal cap hit, but the available cap hit that we have was minus that already. They already took that out because they took their medicine right from the jump. Alex, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I know you were going off about 2023, but let's before my next point comes in and y'all can go back to bickering. How many times has Jakob Johnson been on and off the practice squad?
4 times.
How many times? Yeah, thank you, Rob. How many times did we cut and sign Carter Coughlin before the year?
3 times.
How many times did we fuck around with 51 or 52 guys within the first 3 weeks of the season?
4 times.
Thank you. So that's number one. Number two.
So what does that have to do with fucking up the money?
Because he didn't have enough money to have a full roster. We went to games with 51 and 52 players.
Because that's what Dabo wanted. We got plenty of cap space to sign anybody we wanted to. Bro.
So okay. So hold on. Even if that's true, hold on, Pat. Hold on. I gotta go. So even if that's true, Pat, even if him listening to Dable, that's what Dable wants. Him listening to Dable and not correcting Dable makes him a bad GM. Like, what? He's a bad GM at the end of the day. He's just bad.
I'm not saying that he's not a bad GM. I'm saying he got the money straight to where we can be able to do things in off seasons. He did that. You can't take that away from him.
Yeah, where's that money spent though? Where's that money spent?
That's not the argument. The argument was, did he not get the money back to where we are able to do things in off seasons? True or false?
False.
Yeah. Where do you spend the money?
So we won't be able to do anything this off season because we have no cap room to do it.
We only have like $36 million in cap space.
No, we will have over $60 million.
No, stop.
That's not true.
Yes, it is. They're going to have to restructure. All right. If you guys you don't want to believe me, that's fine. Hold on.
I believe they're over 60.
That's
I believe they're over 60 million, Rob.
No. My point is he's talking about money keeping in line and that stuff. That's fine, but who cares about whether money is kept in line if it's not being spent properly? That's number one. Number two,
that was not the argument, though, Alex. That wasn't the argument.
He's just making a point.
Ahead.
Hold on.
That's number one. Number two is since this was a debate topic before, and it still kind of lands in now. Since you're talking about, well, the GM has to be in lockstep with the coach. I don't want to hear any more about, oh, well, the player, oh, it's because I heard mostly when I was arguing or in this debate that, oh, player development. I don't want to hear that anymore, because if you're saying the GM and head coach are in lockstep, then I don't need to hear that excuse. I could hear player development, but I could also hear who picked the coach, because guess what? If we're going to fall into that same argument, then Gettleman and Judge were in lockstep, and he didn't do free agency or draft well, and Gettleman is out of a job, and Joe Judge is no longer here. Therefore,
that's a fact. That's a fact. I'm not disagreeing with that. The point is, did he not get the money straight? And this is showing you right here, the team will have 61 million in cap space. They would literally have 61 million in cap space, and that's before releasing freaking the kicker and freaking Nacho. That's another $7 million.
Yeah, but they're okay. So then I apologize about that. But they don't have the like they only have like 30 something players.
How much money do you think it's gonna take to get those players?
You got to fill the roster.
I understand that, but tell me, how much money do you think is going to be
okay?
able
So
to
let me
fill
ask,
back up players?
So Pat, let me ask you a question, right? If they're planning on going ahead and let's just say they're going to draft a quarterback, but they want to go ahead and they want to sign a bridge guy, right? Some of the bridge guys that are out there, you're going to pay anywhere from $10 to $15 million for that bridge. Okay. Now you also are going to need an offensive lineman, correct? You're all going to need an offensive lineman. If you want to get guys that are available, some guys that we talked about that are free agents, Trey Smith.
There you go, Drew.
Trey Smith.
I sent it to you, Drew.
From the Chiefs. You have a guy like Robert Hunt that got $100 million last year. Trey Smith is a way better guard. He's going to get probably 110 to 115 million a year. That's 20 something million that you're going to be giving to him next year. So now that's probably $35 million.
That's where y'all mess up, Rob. It's not like a bank account. It's not like a bank account. You don't take $20 million because you give a player $20 million a year. You can structure the contract to where it's a lesser hit.
But you also have bonuses. You have bonuses and roster.
Okay,
bonuses
I understand
that
too. But it's not going to be 20 million right off the cap because you gave the guy 20 million a year. It's not like a bank account. That's where y'all getting it twisted.
There's two things that go into that.
Was that
I'm not saying Pat's wrong, but also you're kicking the can down the road, which obviously with good teams that happens. You do kick the can down the road, but of course we're not a good team. We don't have a good GM. You're also going to need a corner because there ain't no way in hell you're running it back with Banks and drafting somebody. Can't do that because you're going to need a quarterback. And, well, you got to make a decision on Tibbs very, very soon. Underperforming player. I don't give a shit who says what. He's underperforming.
I sent it right there. Two giant goofballs.
No argument from me. You get no argument from me.
Let me chime in for just a second because I've been quiet, bro.
I've been patient. But let me say something real fast. I'm not trying to go into the numbers shit. I'm not even fuck the numbers. Good GMs figure out a way to make it happen regardless. I mean, you look at what the Eagles is doing. Look at that roster, how that's constructed. A good GM, they got two number one wide receivers on the books, both paid. Two number one wide receivers. They got Barkley in there. They got a quarterback that's paid. They got one of the best O-lines in football. Good GMs figure it out. And we got Joe Shane. That's and that's just the point back in the period.
Let me
the good ones figure it out.
Because y'all keep going back and forth and see Pat's the only one arguing for the other side of the argument. So let me help my brother out real quick. Look, man, y'all keep talking about money, but all I heard when Dave Gettleman was the general manager was, oh, we gotta get this money right. Yo, the money messed up. Yo, the money. Now The guy has you in a flexible, listen to me, flexible cap position. You're not going to have $80 million every single season. No team has that. So he has you in a flexible cap situation, but you can't even give him credit for that. When we came
Who
from,
gives a
from,
shit
from
what Gettleman
when we
did?
came, hold up. We do give a shit with Gettleman because they was here to fix Gettleman's mistakes. So chill, Alex. We do give a fuck what Gettleman did because he fucked the team up. So you asking somebody to repair a mistake, but yet and still you're pissed.
Appreciate you stopping by, Dash.
Yet and still you guys were pissed because he's not getting it right immediately. You know what I'm saying? When this guy Gettleman and Jerry Reese, to all of yous, admission, fuck this team up and fuck this cap up immensely. Thank you.
And we have no void. Hold on. Another thing I want to say, because everybody's like, oh, he's kicking the can down the road. No, he's not. Nobody has any void years on their contract. Nobody has.
Leonard Williams did. Leonard Williams had void, which we still have to pay, by the way.
They're gone. That's not hurting what we got right
They
now.
still no, they still have to pay Leonard Williams this offseason because of a void year.
I understand that, but that doesn't have us in cap hell. We're cap fluid.
All right, fine. Look,
said.
let me appease.
But that was my only argument.
I understand, but let me appease this then, right? If you're saying that these guys rectified the cap problem, right? So then you have a rectified cap issue. You've had 30 plus draft picks that you've had in the last 3 seasons, and you are at the bottom of your fucking division. Excuse my language. So I'm sorry, but that right there, if you fix the cap, right? We'll say you fix the cap, made it flexible, like Kenny just said. You've gone through 3 draft classes, and they are and you could argue they are worse than 2022 now than what they were when they took over. And that 2022 roster, 90% of that roster was Gettleman's. 90% of that roster was Gettleman's. The only free agents that they brought in was Mark Lewinsky. They had a rookie draft class, but not every one of those rookies were really playing that year. McFadden played, Bellinger played, Neal played, but then he got hurt. And Kayvon played. Everybody else wasn't really playing. You had three or four rookies out of that draft class, and they weren't even producing to the level that this draft class is producing at this particular moment in time. So you've got a fixed cap, allegedly. You've got 3 years of draft classes, and you were nowhere even near closer to competing in this division or competing out of this division. And what's crazy about this is that sometimes, I'm not saying anybody here, but when some people talk about the Giants, it's like time freezes, no other team gets better, and only the Giants improve. No, these other teams are improving too. So like what Mac was saying, you need to be able, here's the thing, Eagles are paying all of these players. Do you know how much Jalen Hurts is getting paid this year? $13 million on a 4 or 5 year contract that he got. But you do that when you know you've got your guy. They put us in a situation right now where we can't even trade for a guy, even if we were winning, even if we were 9-2 right now. They couldn't trade for somebody right now and offer them a deal. The last 2 years at the trade deadline, we were looking for guys that were like at the $1 million mark on the base salary because you couldn't take on guys that had a higher base salary because you didn't have the money to spend.
Okay, so
go ahead, Alex.
I just want to say one thing, and I want to get out of here.
Question. Go ahead.
Okay, so number one, let's add on to Rob's point real quick. Why are the Eagles so successful? Because they draft well, right? We don't draft well. That's number one. Number two, we need to stop with this. While it's partially, there we go.
Sorry.
While it's partially true, we said the same exact thing, and I'm going off of NYG what he said. He said, "Oh, he's fixing Gettleman's situation." Well, he isn't fixing it right now, and he's had 3 years, and we said similar things.
Alex,
what was that?
Is the cap better?
Let him finish. Let him finish.
Finish my point.
Okay, I'm just
Jerry Reese, 2017, whatever, he gets fired. 2018 and 2019. No Giant fan on this panel, because I didn't know any of y'all, I'm going to be honest. But there were people out there saying, oh, well, Gettleman's fixing Jerry Reese.
I'm offended by that.
So now lumping that in, obviously, what NYG said, he has fixed the cap, but it's not just fixing the cap. It's about putting money in the right spots. And he has done that to a certain extent, but he's replacing guys that he drafted, right? You wouldn't need a Limanor if you hit on Evan Neal. You would need some of these guys, right? So that's another thing, right? He's had multiple draft picks. He's had this, that, and the third, whatever. And obviously in 3 years. And here's my final point. And then I'll let y'all do your thing. You're saying it's not, NYG's saying it's not handled yet. You know, you got, I don't like specifically somewhere around that mark. Am I right, NYG? You said he's got to handle this situation or whatever, because you were saying you were along the lines of giving him more time. What did you exactly say, maybe along the mark? So I could just get it right.
No, I said you're asking him to come in and fix something that 2 GMs messed up.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And the other thing I said was you have to give the draft classes more time to see if they pan out or not.
Okay. So here's my final rebuttal. Why did you guys pick the Giants to win 11 to 13 games this year, if that was the case?
I did that. You know, they was just riding with me because of my optimism.
I was
to
a
say
little
11 and 6.
kind of
actually picked this. You want to know why?
Listen, I take the full blame for that because I'm the 11 and 6 guy, and they be trying to be realistic. They'll start at the beginning of the season and be like 7 and 10, and then I'll be like, fuck that shit, 11 and 6, 11 and 6, and by week 3, they'll be like, 11 and 6.
Let me speak to that though. You know what Joe Shane's most egregious thing that he's done?
But I'm accountable for my shit, if nothing else.
Facts. We all are.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know what the most egregious thing this man has done? It's the same mistake Dave Gettleman did. He's not hiring head coaches that could develop people, bro. I'm telling you that. That's a fact. Because this team, to be honest with you, in 2022, if they would have kept building on what they were doing in 2022 instead of letting Dabo take over everything and put it in his own system.
Yeah.
Because Kafka was calling the plays in 2022. That's a fact. And they were doing it with Richie James in them. So imagine the players that he picked up, the way that we would be playing in that same system, even with Daniel Jones in there.
Pat,
you might not hold on, because I let everybody speak. You might not like the way that they did it in 2022 because it wasn't fly and flashy, but they played good defense. They ran the ball, and DJ was efficient that year. Whether you like him or not, he was efficient in 2022. You got to at least give him that. When it came to third downs and longs, he was picking that shit up almost every time. Throwing in the middle field to Richie James. If Richie James can do that in that system, what do you think Wan'Dale Robinson can do in that system? What do you think Malik Neighbors could do in that system besides freaking Kenny Galladay or somebody?
But let me ask you this based off what you're just talking about right now. I guess my question for you would be, when was the turning point that you felt this way? Because prior to the season starting, and I'm not trying to whatever, with Dable, we knew Dable was more than likely going to call plays. We knew it. He didn't announce it, but we all knew he was probably going to call plays. You said with a good line and with these weapons that Daniel Jones would throw for 4,200 yards and 30-plus touchdowns. So at what point, hold on, at what point, no, Pat, that was you in the space.
No.
Hold on, no, Lou, that was Pat in a space that we had that he said that if the O-line held up and with the weapons and if the offensive line was good, that Daniel Jones, the floor was 4,200 yards and 30-plus touchdowns. So at what point, how you feel now about the lack of Dable and his ego and all of this other stuff, when did that change? Because it had to change at some point between the season, before the season started, and today. So at what game was that?
What game was it?
Yeah, what game did you feel that everything changed?
I'll tell you when it changed is when I seen that they didn't go back to what they were doing in 2022 and they stuck with what they were doing in 2023. Because in 2022, that season that he had, if you have system the way they was running it, I promise you would have had a better season. Now, I probably said that to piss some of y'all off, probably what you did that day. But my ceiling for Daniel, my real thing for Daniel Jones, if they would have stuck with that system, I believe his ceiling could have been around 30 touchdowns, around 400 or some yards rushing, and about 2 or 3 touchdowns rushing. That was if that 2022 system, because that fit him best, and that's a fact. But Brian Daboll
his air yards in that system in 22 wasn't good. His Jones in 2022, his average air yards were below 5 yards per pass.
I don't care about average air yards and all that. That's analytics bullshit. I look at what's on the field because those guys
you have to take that into account.
Those guys can actually get more yards after the catch than those guys that were on the field in 2022. That's a fact. If Malik Neighbors catches that ball wide open over the middle like Hodgins was, that's way more yardage than what Hodgins can get.
Point. Okay.
Wan'Dale Robinson catching those passes over the middle with freaking Richie James, that's way more yards with Wan'Dale Robinson because he's better than him. If they knew how to use Hyatt and Slayton, could you imagine them dudes in that system the way they was running that system?
All right, so then let me ask this question. Sorry, Alex. Let me ask this. When do you think Brian Daboll started calling plays last year?
Arizona in 2023.
So from week 2.
Mm-hmm.
So then why is it that with the same, because at that point we didn't have Neighbors, we basically had the same weapons, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why is it that when Tyrod or even Tommy DeVito for a short period of time, there was more explosive plays and the offense looked more fluent than right now with Neighbors, with a better offensive line? Why was Daboll good last year from week 2 and the offense?
The offense was good last year to you?
When Tyrod went in there, it looked a lot better when Tyrod was playing quarterback.
We got a couple of more deep passes. We still weren't.
It looked better with Tyrod and Tommy DeVito both last year. It looked better.
Exactly.
I said that all last year when it was happening.
You dudes forget that we were getting 4 turnovers a game during that stretch.
I was just about to say they were throwing interceptions.
So I hate that argument because
hold on.
I'll explain why. I hate that argument. One is because they weren't doing anything right now with the opportunities that they were given when they got the ball without even a turnover. So what were they going to do when they got a turnover? Hell, we got a turnover, I believe, in the Carolina game, and he took a sack and got himself out of field goal range, and we had to punt. The majority of those turnovers that we even got at that point sometimes didn't even result in anything. Like, we weren't doing anything offensively now that shows, you know what, if we would have gotten more opportunities, we would have done more with the football. Yeah, it would have given you more of opportunities to probably have your offense look even worse.
I'm going to let Alex go. I'm going to let Alex go. He's been waiting for a minute.
So I got 3 main points, and then I got to get off. So here's where Pat, I think you're wrong. They did build off the 2022 season. They did. Now, in terms of schematics, I think it's possible that they adapted, good or bad, whatever, that they adapted because those were kind of simple concepts that Jones was running. And the NFL figured that out. That the Eagles game showed you that, right? So that's number one. So they did build off of the 2022 anomaly season. In fact, since you're crushing this pillow, which I'm not saying you're wrong about player development, I think I remember our general manager saying that the 3-6-1 finish that we had was more indicative of the talent. So they got worse after they had worse talent.
I forgot he said that.
It's interesting, right? And here's my last point. Again, you guys said what you did or whatever about Daniel Jones, or whatever your record was, which is interesting, whatever. I'll leave it to you. So, number one, I really don't get how Daniel Jones could possibly throw for 30 touchdowns. I'm not going to break anyone's balls on that one, but 30 touchdowns when he's never thrown for over 24, and even that was in Shermer's system. That's number one. And number two is how you're projecting him to do that and the Giants to have a good season. Meanwhile, it was you and NYG who are coming up with this theory that that Dable is sabotaging Daniel Jones.
Absolutely.
You don't see it?
Does it not seem that way?
I am
No,
absolutely
that way.
100 on that. Okay, we could start the debate right here, right now, bro. Gloves
Hold
off.
on.
It is 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, hold on one second.
Now I can't debate. Okay, cool. Y'all got it, man.
No,
I've been the one saying
you want to start a whole
I've been the
nother
one
debate at 1 o'clock in the
saying
morning.
that. I've been the one directly talking about the sabotage theory. So
well, y'all can
go ahead.
debate that Wednesday. You and Alex. Listen, we're gonna have to limit these debates to like 2 people at a time. Because when we do it like this, it goes way too long and it gets muddled. Alex, finish your statement.
Hold on. So Tyrod Taylor.
30 minutes. Go ahead.
Tyrod Taylor in that 2023 season, he played against the Bills, right?
Mm-hmm.
We scored 14 points. And couldn't score from the 1 yard line twice, but he was moving the ball.
Better than
he played that first Commanders game. We won 14-7. He got hurt in that Jets game. We lost 10-13. The Packers game, Tommy DeVito didn't even have a great game, but we won 24-22.
Wait, the Packers game?
Yeah, Tommy DeVito didn't have a great game.
You can talk, my nigga. I just thought you wanted to start a whole debate with that.
He made the plays down the stretch and got the win.
What was his stats in that game?
One at a time.
What was Tommy's stats in that game against the Packers?
I have to look that up, but we're talking about Tyrod Taylor. I think he had barely over 200 yards and a touchdown to Hodgins in that game, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, most would say that that's a great game by Daniel Jones.
Yeah,
I want to say that was a great game by Daniel Jones.
No, I'm not saying. I'm not necessarily saying anybody here, but I'm saying like people would say, "Oh, he did everything he needed to do." Like most people would be giving him like if Daniel was the one who threw it to Wanda Robinson, who got them in position to kick the game-winning field goal, everybody would be up in arms about Daniel Jones. Oh my God, look, he led a game-winning drive
because he did it 6 times in 2022, and people still didn't give him credit for it.
No, if you go back and you look at that, the majority of that was all Saquon Barkley.
Okay, if you want to say that, okay.
Oh, I got a question for Pat though.
I don't have the controls, Wales.
I get a serious question for Pat though. Are you talking to the point of that the fact that we're saying DeVito
Pat has the controls?
Are you going to the point of DeVito, us saying that DeVito and Taylor were better? Or are you going to NYG's point of sabotage? Because the point you're illustrating right now about DeVito and Taylor not being better, that illustrates the point of there was no sabotage because, in your opinion, none of the quarterbacks were good. So I don't know what point you're going to. I'm being honest.
The point that NYG is saying is the play calling looked totally different when those 2 guys got in there.
I'll make it if I can. I'll make my own point.
Of course you can, brother. I just thought you wanted to set up a debate between you and Alex on that particular topic. That's all.
No. We stand.
I was going against what they were saying.
No. And listen to me. So when I'm saying the sabotage thing, I'm saying that this guy was coaching a quarterback that he did not want here. And so he was not really trying to set Daniel Jones up for real success, to be honest.
Thank you,
because he didn't want him. And the reason that they didn't want him,
so whatever the reason, I was saying Jason Garrett was doing to Joe Judge to try to become the head coach.
Well, sort of, yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like this. It's you agree per John Mara, hey, we'll see what we can do with Daniel Jones in 2022. Dable, and credit Kafka, they came up with a game plan and they made it work. But originally, they did not want him here. They did not pick up the 5th-year option. They made him look bad in practice on purpose. You know what I'm saying? You've seen some of the tantrums that happened on the sideline. You seen some of the way they were kind of dismissing him when they first got here. Not really. It seemed an awkward quote unquote relationship from the beginning.
Didn't pick up his 5th-year option.
Right.
And no,
and then,
are you, Kenny, are you talking about last year or are you talking about this year?
I'm talking about the entire time Daniel Jones has been the quarterback of the New York Giants.
You felt like they were trying to sabotage him the entire time that they were here.
I felt like they did not want him here. Now, if you're saying that you support a quarterback and that you're doing everything that you can do to yada yada yada, but you don't really want him here, you want to draft a quarterback and you're trying to move on secretly, that to me, that's the definition of sabotage, bro. Because you're acting like as if you wanted to make it work with Daniel Jones. That was not the agreement. The agreement was per Mara, do what you can, and they did, and they got suckered into giving him a contract.
Why not?
So hold on, Alex. So then let me ask this question then: sabotage complete. He's released. Why is the play calling still trash last week? With a guy that's been
because
in your
they're tanking for their future quarterback.
Facts.
I just think it's that. Yeah, but here's the thing. I think it's because DeVito is bad, Dable is bad, and I think, and I don't mean this disrespectfully, I think people are looking for something to pin it on when it's just that like this team doesn't need to tank. This team is just bad. This team doesn't need to tank. They're going to lose games regardless. So like they don't need to tank.
They do though, Rob. I think they do need to tank because the Giants have been in so many close games where questionable play calling and decision making has been made, and you're like, what the fuck are they doing?
Like when they get in the red zone every week. Like in the red zone every week, bro.
It's terrible. So if Dable is such a bad coach, what the fuck have we been doing for the past 3 years? If he's that bad, I mean, that idiotic to where he can't recognize simple shit that me and you and average Joe Smoes just watching the game on TV can do, like, bro,
But then that's more of an indictment on Joe Shane than it is on Brian Dable, because then
if you on both.
So if you and me are let's just say I'm with you, I'm aligned with you, and we notice that. If the GM doesn't notice that? That's an indictment on him, and he's guilty by association. And he's guilty by association at that particular point. So,
and that's what I'm looking for, Rob. Now, that's what I'm looking for, because if you're Mara and you really giving these guys control, or Shane, so to speak, then I'm looking at him and I'm saying, look, if you don't fire your buddy or you're hesitant to, I'm getting you the fuck up out of here too, because guess what? That shows me that y'all really got this cahoots thing going on, and that's the reason I would fire Shane, is because of his involvement with Brian Dable. I think they're in cahoots. I don't think it's he's the GM and he's just taking orders from his boss type shit. I think they're in lockstep, as people said. Credit to you, Alex. You want cookies? I'll give you one. You know, you were on the Shane train, the first and foremost. But the fact of the matter is, though, I don't think you can really pin it all on him when you have a coach out there that's literally not maximizing the talent that's on the field, bro. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, well, it's not even really a question whether or not they want Daniel Jones to be their quarterback. I mean, obviously he's gone now, but it was caught in 4K in Hard Knocks when Joe Shane's talking to Todd Bowles at the Senior Bowl saying, oh, it must be nice to not have to worry about your quarterback situation anymore. And then you're watching these interviews and in these meetings with the Giants front office saying, oh, which quarterback should we try to trade up and get? It's obviously we're trying to move on from Daniel Jones even before this year. And when you're having, watching videos of Joe Shane already at Colorado talking to Coach Prime about Shadur Sanders and, already going and looking at all these quarterbacks, it's like Joe Shane looks like he already has, the first overall pick already. And I feel like when you hear Brian Dable talk in these media press conferences, when they're talking about decisions about what quarterback's going to start, Brian Dable always says that me and Joe always have great conversations. Everything's in lockstep. We have good conversations behind the scenes. So it's obviously they're in good communication. And it seems like the ideals of the Giants this year is to lose, draft their future quarterback, and move on, because they bit themselves in the ass last year by putting in Tommy DeVito, and they won those 3 or 4 games in a row. And then they were out of contention to get someone like a Drake May or a Jaden Daniels. So this year, I feel like they're committed to that. they never wanted Daniel Jones, and I feel like Brian Dable's play calling, Brian Dable's demeanor towards him, it was all pointing in the direction of, we're moving on from you. We don't want to win games, and you're not the future of this team. And I feel like that was pretty obvious.
I'll say this
real
one
quick,
last thing, though. I'll say this one last thing, that you go, TP. I don't think it was DeVito that cost him that. It was Wink.
That's true. That's true, and I feel like that's
Because
probably what the
Wink was
fallout
the
was
only-
behind
Yeah.
the scenes.
Fired him, yeah.
Wink was the only motherfucker that was like, "Nah, nigga, I'm
Winning
gonna call my
games,
defense the
motherfucker?
way."
Hell no.
Why you think Wink's defense went ape shit at the end of the season? That was a man that was trying to show something to somebody. That defense went ape shit. Y'all keep forgetting that defense was literally getting 4 turnovers a game.
Yeah, they
Making
also
it to where
went-
you damn near
Yeah,
had.
but you refuse
We
to
were
go
losing
Baltimore.
games 13-10.
You can't tell me that a head coach that's supposed to be this like offensive mastermind, a QB whisperer, is getting blown out of games. His offense is looking inept when you have players like Malik Neighbors, Wan'Dale Robinson, Darius Slayton, Theo Johnson,
Facts.
Daniel Bellinger. You got a revamped offensive line with Tyrone Tracy, who's what the best rookie running back in the league. You have Andrew Thomas, you have Jermaine Illuminor, you have John Michael Schmitz. You got 2 new guards. There's no way you could be this inept unless it's either intentional or you're fucking stupid.
Facts.
So it's either one of the two. So pick your poison.
I think they're
Either
fucking
you're tanking
stupid.
intentionally
Personally.
or you're
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah,
And no matter what the answer is, you can't be the head coach of the New York Giants anymore.
But
if you're doing any of that. Shit.
Go ahead, TB. Sorry.
I just have 2 questions because I just want to make sure that we are all on the same page. I want to be out, just trying to check the temperature real quick. And these are just yes or no questions that I would like for everybody to answer.
We all want them gone, but we want them gone for different reasons.
So right. So do you think that Coach Dable is terrible? Yes or no?
Yes.
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 Do you think that Joe
Yes.
Shane is terrible?
Yes.
Yes. Or
Yes.
Yes.
No? Okay.
He's terrible because
Absolutely,
he let this
yes.
terrible moron destroy his team. The same thing Dave Gettleman did. That's the
No,
most
he's made
egregious
plenty of
thing.
mistakes.
That's the
Plenty.
most egregious thing you could do.
Okay, that's
But
what I just said.
But here's
It
the
doesn't
thing.
matter why. We all agree they're terrible.
Yeah.
We just agree for different reasons.
Here's the thing with the John Mara thing, though. I don't think. I think everybody is like wants to blame John Mara and say it's on him. He made this elaborate plan and whatever. I don't think that it is. And I say and I think Kenny and Pat Lou. I said this last time that I was on here. Saquon Barkley was the most popular than any other player on this franchise, to the point where John Mara's father was so in tune with a similar running back in Tiki Barber that when he was on his deathbed, requested that Tiki Barber come to the house to say goodbye to him before he passed, him and Jeremy Shockey. And I think that John Mara, I believe, had that similar feeling to Saquon Barkley. Now, all he said was, he's our most popular player by far, but if you feel that we need to move on, I'm with you. And I think that is as far as it goes with John Mara. I don't think that John Mara made some Home Alone blueprint, type of, house trap for Joe Shane and Brian Dable. I think he probably said, look, I like Daniel. I think that, he's had a bad rap here. I'd like to see it work. But if you guys feel that we need to go in another direction, I'm with you. I am in full support, i.e., he said, just like in 2004, where, they did it when they were in Hard Knocks. I think that's as far as it goes. I don't think this, Joe Shane had one hand tied behind his back. He's a road runner, the Wile E. Coyote chasing the road runner, and John Mara is a road runner, and he always gets away with whatever he wants. I don't think that that's what it is. I just think that John Mara gave him his thought, gave him what he wanted, and they made the decision himself.
All right. I'm going to let Alex go. Drew hasn't said nothing, and then we're going to wrap it up because it's almost 1:30, and I still got to cook for tomorrow.
Yes. Okay. So to kind of go
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. It's 1 in the morning.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy gobble gobble.
Yes.
Pause.
Oh,
yeah. My bad.
I'm keeping notes here. So to backpedal into
just like Joe Shane.
Yeah, just like
yeah. Look at her getting his Shane on.
Right in the book.
Comparison.
With a colored pencil. Not even a real pencil, a colored pencil.
So to poke a hole in this this theory that I've been combating with you guys for a while.
How many pauses are you gonna get, Alex?
Number one is
how many holes?
Why didn't they sabotage him in 2022 if they didn't want him anyway? Number two is okay. Well, you have your theory of sabotage, but why is Daniel Jones still missing guys wide open? That's one thing. And here's something I'm gonna say, and then I'll shut my mouth. I'm probably gonna get off because I still have to do some stuff. Okay. That's your mind, not mine. I disagree with Pat's logic.
Come on, Pat, clean this shit up.
We all want these guys fired for different reasons, but I do disagree with Pat's logic of Shane should be fired because he's letting Dable ruin it. Well, you're kind of not giving credit to Joe Shane for his bad mistakes too, besides letting Dable ruin it. So that's just my opinion. But I'm done. You guys can have the floor.
I mean, you could be mad at the person bringing home the groceries, but it's the man making the shopping list that needs to be held accountable.
No,
and that's Brian Dable.
I'm not doubting that Dable.
Now that was red pill as fuck. Okay, deception. Base. Let's go.
Go ahead, Drew.
Yeah,
if you don't, Alex. I was going to say, if you don't, Alex, have a good Thanksgiving, brother.
Yeah, have a good Thanksgiving.
Drew, let me ask you: this is
good
Thanksgiving. Does your chain hang low?
It wobbles.
Hey, man. Oh.
I got that chain.
Wait, that wasn't no pause. I'm talking about the chain he's wearing.
Okay.
There no
but
pause.
I think we got to look at some of the moves that Joe Shane has made that kind of low key were also not the best moves in the world that I think kind of get forgotten in some of this too. He has a history of overpaying players, in my opinion. So we look at like the cap. You guys mentioned he's fixed some of the cap issues. Well, let's be honest here. We got a cap situation that's okay right now because we cut DJ. That's the only reason why we have this.
I wish he would overpay Barkley,
No, because we would have got that money regardless.
Cut DJ.
We would have got that money regardless.
Bad teams typically have to overpay in free agency, and that's just the reality of the situation.
But we overpaid in ways we didn't have to, though. Like Bobby Okereke, while that contract does not look so bad because he's overplayed what he was in Indy, that was an overpayment. And there was a lot of linebackers that were similar resume-wise.
We got like almost half of what the dude got with the Bears, right?
Yeah, well, also look at what's his name, Drew Tranquil as well. Who do you got with the Chiefs? I think the same offseason, right? He got
but nobody knew Drew Tranquil was going to be good. And guess who he's playing with? The Chiefs. They know how to use him.
And you gotta understand too, Drew. Not to cut you, but you got to understand, too, the fact that the way he structured that Daniel Jones contract is the reason we're able to get out of it right now.
That's
anyway, look at some of these contracts. Some of these guys are signing Kyler Murray, Trevor Lawrence, Deshaun Watson.
But those guys are getting those deals because they've proven to be the guy.
Really? Kyler Murray has proven to be the guy.
Yeah, go look at his stats. Yeah, he has.
I'm not looking at. Has he led?
You think Kyler Murray is worth that contract?
Daniel Jones got more playoff wins.
Yes, 100%. Wait, whoa, hold on. Pat, I want to make sure I just heard you right. Did you just say that Jones has outplayed Kyler Murray?
As far as leading his team to get to the promised land, he has. He's won a playoff game.
He said Daniel. What he said verbatim. No. What he said verbatim was Daniel Jones has more playoff wins than Kyler Murray.
But Tim Tebow has a playoff win. Like Blake Bortles has a playoff win. What are we doing here?
Wait. Time out. We're not going to talk about Tim Tebow because I can do a whole series of videos of why Tim Tebow's not in the league. It's because he gave credit to Jesus Christ first in every interview he ever had. That's why. Because he wouldn't party and drink and go whoremongering with the team, and they felt like he was alienating himself from the team, and he might snitch on some of the debauchery and shit. So they got his ass out the league, and that's a fact.
Okay, and I get all. And listen,
I digress.
I'm just saying. Case Keenum won a playoff game. Did he get a big time contract? He won a playoff game. He's got the Minneapolis Miracle against the Saints. He didn't get $160 freaking million over 4 years from a freaking organization.
Hey Rob, why do you pay a quarterback that amount of money?
A quarterback like Daniel Jones, because you're stupid.
A quarterback like Kyler Murray.
Because he's proven that
Why do you pay him though?
Because he's proven that he's a franchise level quarterback.
Because you believe he can lead you to a Super Bowl.
But he's also proven it on the football field.
How has he proven? What has he proven?
Go and look at his stats. Jones
don't care about his stats.
You need to, because stats is what gets you paid. Because stats get you paid, bro. Stats get players paid. So you're gonna hold on 1 second. No, 1 second. Tom Brady was an anomaly because he took less money with the New England Patriots. So he's an anomaly.
I'm not talking about the money. I'm talking about winning.
I'm talking about right now. Stats get players paid. If Barkley, I'm not even going to use their running back. I'll stick with the quarterback situation.
Or Trevor Lawrence.
If Trevor Lawrence went out there and put out a 4,500 yard season with 30 something touchdowns on the final year of his deal, damn right he's getting a contract. Justin Herbert got the contract because he's produced in the league. He's one of the fastest quarterbacks to like almost 40,000 yards freaking passing. It's insane the amount of production that he's put. And Kyler Murray, just like how people want to use running, passing, like how some people wanted to do with DJ, the guy has averaged over 30 touchdowns, except for when he got hurt and he missed. He's averaged 30 total, well over 30 touchdowns total, rushing and passing. He's had close to almost 5,000 yards in total yardage between rushing and passing. The guy is producing stats. If no player just gets paid off of just winning a playoff game, that shit don't happen, because Case Keenum didn't get paid. Tebow didn't get paid. Hell, Baker won a playoff game and he got traded, and before he got his contract with the Bucs. Just because you win a playoff game, that don't mean shit. You get paid off stats. That's why in your contract, you get bonuses for stats.
And that's why the league is the way it is now.
But that's
I'm just
telling you what it is, bro.
That's also a contract.
Yeah, that's also. I mean, that's a perk. But you don't get. You don't get major contract off
for
of
real. I agree with you on this point. Kyler Murray is a better quarterback than Daniel Jones.
That's a fact.
I don't think that he should have I don't think he necessarily deserved that contract, just from the simple fact of there was reports he wasn't studying and really concentrating and really getting into the playbook like that. That's why that head coach over there got fired. Now they got Gannon over there, and they're kind of turning it around because they're a defensive-minded team, first and foremost. Think what you want about Arizona. I watch football. But to me, Kyler Murray is the type of quarterback. Some of these quarterbacks, to me, I don't know if you watch basketball, Rob, or any of you guys, but they're like James Harden. They're like Russell Westbrook. Like they're empty stat producers. You know what I'm saying? They look good. They look good when it comes when the game ends and you look at the stat line. They look good. But when you actually turn on the game and you watch the game, and I'm not making an argument for Daniel Jones, so don't get it twisted. But when you actually turn on and watch the game, these guys aren't as good as they seem, bro.
Empty calories.
Let me
to be honest with you, Kyler Murray didn't deserve that contract.
Let me say this real quick. NYG. So the stats got him paid, right? Yes. 2019, 3,722 yards, 20 touchdowns, 12 picks. 2020, 3,900 yards, 26 touchdowns, 12 picks. 2021, 3,700 yards, 24 touchdowns, 10 picks. 2022, 2,300 yards, 14 touchdowns, 7 picks. 2023, he got hurt. 1,799 yards, 10 touchdowns, 5 picks. Right now, he has 2,300 yards with 6 games to play?
Okay, but Pat, hold on. I'm going to add, hold on. What you're forgetting, in 2019, he also had 544 yards rushing, 4 touchdowns. 2020, 11 rushing touchdowns in 2020.
I get it, but nobody gave Daniel Jones credit for what he did running. So we're going off
true.
pure passing. Pure passing.
You want to know why quarterbacks get paid?
Hold
Point
on.
blank. Okay, you good.
Because I was just told that this dude has these amazing stats. Amazing stat. This dude has never thrown for 4,000 yards in one season.
But he's thrown for 3 years back to back, which I think he got the contract after the 2021 season because that's when he's eligible to get paid. He had 3 years where he damn near threw for almost 4,000 yards, 37, 39, 37, as you said. Look, if you want to make the argument whether it was the right time to invest into the contract, similar to Trevor Lawrence, they gave a contract after 3 years. If you want to say right now, maybe at that point it was a premature, but at the end of the day, when you identify your franchise quarterback, you identify that guy as being somebody that's going to be a part of your organization for 10 plus years, 15 years, whatever the case may be. Right now, based on where it goes, I would say that he's living up to that contract as far as being a leader and being a reason why that team is having success. This year is the first year with Trevor Lawrence not having the success. Obviously, he's hurt too. You don't know what he's going to do.
The Cardinals had.
What do you mean? He was hurt last year.
I mean,
what happened in 2022?
They're first place in their division, ain't they?
I mean, they're second place.
They're damn near 500. That whole division is damn near 500.
Okay, they're in a division with a good Seahawks team. They're also in a division going against the San Francisco 49ers.
Who have been hurt the whole year.
Hold on.
We beat the Seahawks. We beat the Seahawks.
Hold on. And the Rams.
Who've been hurt all year.
Okay, but the point is they are in a much tougher division than what we are. Nobody expect going into this year. Yes, they are.
About that.
Time out. Hold on. Right now,
Cowboys are down.
Right now, you can make when you're looking at it right now. Yes, but going into this year, nobody thought the Commanders would be leading this division or second in this division. Nobody thought the Cowboys would be this bad, right? Nobody thought that when you were going when you were looking at the NFC West, people were putting San Francisco in the conference championship game already based on they've been in the conference championship game many times.
Nobody gave the Rams or the Arizona Cardinals much of a shot though. Rob. Let's be a buck.
Bro, they got a good football team. Look at
they do. I agree, but you're saying as if the divisions if that division is tougher than the other one. I'm saying no.
It is. No, it's tougher than ours.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. 100%.
No, it's not. No,
it's way better.
So stack them up.
I'm gonna tell you why it is. Well, I'm gonna tell you why I'm better because the New York Giants bring this division down so fucking far that it's better.
It's way.
I'm sorry. The New York Giants literally bring this division down so far.
They just
it just makes it that shitty. I'm sorry. We're a bad football team. We're horrible. Absolutely dumpster juice, dog.
They've beaten the Bears.
This division is bad. The Cowboys are not a good football team. They're not a good football team.
And
the NFC West, all their records are all muddied up. Close to 500 because they're competing with each other, and it's a tough fucking division.
Exactly,
it's better than NFC's division.
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
And hold on, Pat. We're not going to go over who they beat because we beat Cream Puffs in 2022 when we were thumping our chest. And
what Cream Puffs did we beat?
The Ravens.
No, I'm
Ravens,
talking about
no.
Packers.
We beat Cream Puffs in 2022.
Nah,
you beat the Ravens. You beat the Ravens and you beat Seattle.
Packers.
But you beat some. I said you beat the Ravens. You beat the Packers.
Seattle.
Nobody thought Seattle was really going to be a good football team.
We
lost to
Seattle.
Hold on, we lost to Seattle in 2022. By the way, we lost to Seattle week 3 in that game. But like the Panthers Cream Puff game. Who did we play week 1 that year? Tennessee. They weren't
Titans
very
were
good.
Nobody were tough coming into that season.
Back-to-back division titles.
Yeah.
They were expected to be good. They were expected to be a better team than they were. It came out that they weren't that very good, but they were expected going into that season to be a decent team.
We didn't beat
underdogs in that game.
We didn't beat a lot of good teams, and the team that we beat in the playoffs that were 13-3, they weren't a very good team either. They had a good offense, but their defense was trash.
Oh man,
their defense was trash.
They beat the Bills that year. They beat so many good teams.
They beat the Bills because they beat the Bills similar to how we beat the Patriots. Yeah, Justin Jefferson caught a pass to put him in field goal range with 5 guys surrounding him, like the David Tyree catch. Come on now.
It is 1:30. I'm not fucking with y'all no more.
Right. Yo, hey, shout out to Andrew coming on, man. We can speak to you about joining the network too, because I really thought you were affiliated with someone already. But if you want to talk, we can talk about that. Yeah. Shout out to the new member, Deception, man. Hope you had fun with this debate, man. Hope you had very good. Yeah. Rob, I'm gonna get you on the network, hella high water.
Pause.
How was that a pause? How was that a pause?
He said, I'm gonna get you on the network.
No pause.
Right.
Man,
Rob,
no pause.
we'll have some discussions. Oh, wow. We've hashed out our problems. Hopefully we can, do some business together here soon.
Yeah. No, I like Rob's energy. Pause, man.
Yeah.
Man, listen, I don't come cheap. I don't come cheap, okay?
Now that's a pause.
I tell you what, I'm worth 160 million over 4 years. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, listen, just as many touchdowns at
flag on the play, bro.
But listen, man, here on the network, this is where you
get. I get more points in this debate than Daniel Jones has thrown touchdowns.
That's a fact. But hey, look. This is what you get on the Big Blue Crew Sports Network, man. Grown men having different opinions about different subjects, and we don't have to insult each other to get our opinions across and talk some football, man. It's been an honor talking with you guys. And Drew, I hope you can come on. Come to the show earlier so we can, feature you with a topic. You let us know a topic, and we'll get you on the network, and so we can discuss some things. My moderator is extremely tired. Thank him for moderating.
No, we're gonna talk now after this stream. Shit.
Yeah.
Pussyfooting around. I'm already awake.
Right.
I still got to cook.
I'd like to thank you, brothers.
I miss you. One of the goofballs.
Right.
Can we talk about my
Yo, I'm gonna stab the hell out you.
Can we talk about my Rockstar partnership? Listen, if you want to party like a rock star with the New York Giants, grab yourself a rock star and you can party just like me.
I gotta plug myself before we go.
Right.
Yo,
I got the candle.
Oh, I was gonna do all that, son. Come on, son. Okay, I got this. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Lou, take us out, man.
Let's go 2 liter. Let's go 2 liter,
man.
Right.
You already know on a regular basis, son. That Pepsi, cut the check. All right, look. Stop playing with me. I'm gonna get this money, son. Y'all know I support the cause. I show it every night. I drink one every stream. You feel me? So cut the check. But y'all know what it is, man. Only on the Big Blue Crew Sports Network, man, where we get a massive amount of content creators with different ideologies, different opinions from different sports and athletic programs and different teams. Okay, we bring you debates, we bring you insight, we bring you film study, we bring you schemes, we bring you track records, history, predictions, mock drafts. We at every draft. We are appearing at the Senior Bowl. We got interviews from players and special guests. We got a whole lot of things in the works for you guys, man. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, that thumbs up button, man. Hit that bell icon so you'll be notified every time that we live, post, or put a short out there for you. And make sure you tap in, man. We got all your sports concerns locked down, man. Soccer, baseball, football, basketball, WNBA, boxing, UFC, man. All your sports locked down, man, on one location, the Big Blue Crew Sports Network, man. And make sure you go tap into all of these content creators individually, man. All their links will be in the description so you can subscribe to their individual channels, and make sure you go subscribe to the Big Blue Crew Sports Network, man. We're trying to build a brand that gives you the best social media sports network experience out there, man. by far. You heard? So until then, y'all know what it is, man. Hit that thumbs up button and that subscribe button, and we'll catch you next time. Cheers.
Yeah, TP, let them know what it is when we get out of here. Hurry, 10, 9,
TP, way to
8.
giant. Go ahead, get with me. Peace.
This has been a Big Blue Crew Sports Network production.